is actually one of the best mons in that game. But yeah, no. That's why the list of mons to technically like Ruin Master, if you want to like truly Ruin Master everything, is actually just limited to the mons in those 2 games. Also, my first shiny I ever caught was in those games. No, the Shadow Pokemon can't be shiny.
Yeah.
The only shiny Pokemon I got was because I did the Pokestops where you put like the little food out, and a wild Sandshrew came to one while I was playing as a kid, and I went, "Why is it green?"
There's no way.
I must bring him to the doctor.
There's no way the term for those were Pokespots.
They were called Pokestops or Pokespots. Yep, Pokespot.
I never got far enough into
yeah,
Gale
I was like, there's no way.
Know these things.
I was like, there's no way there's no way that they're called Pokestops. That would be an insane coincidence with Go.
I cannot prove it because I don't have that Sandshrew anymore, but I remember as a kid going, why is this Sandshrew a different color than the other Sandshrew? I don't understand it.
Nice.
But that's back when you're a kid, and like when you finish a game, you just erase it and play it again.
Well, like my first shiny wasn't until like one of my replaythroughs of Emerald. It's the only shiny I've naturally encountered, and that's including old like the Nuzlocke I do. I've never naturally encountered a shiny in all my time of playing besides my one love disc.
I've encountered. I got a shiny Rapidash in Gen 4.
That's so sick.
And then I got a shiny Gible
one of the 2 fire types in
well.
the game?
Yeah, literally.
You got shiny Gible and you're like, oh, this looks really cool. I wonder what Garchomp looks. Oh.
Yeah, and then the Garchomp is bad. Oh, I also got a shiny.
But then it megas and it's pink, which makes it worth it. Ooh, Miss Magus is like what, green?
It's like puke green.
Yeah,
it's not great.
Beautiful. I love ones that are
shiny.
Bad. Like Fluttermane. Fluttermane being that lime green is terrible, but it's like so bad it's good. You know, Salamence being bright green, so bad it's good.
It's funny, like Espeon's bright green looks really bad in like literally every game incarnation, but in like fan art it looks sick because they changed the green to be slightly less
terrible,
vibrant.
Violence.
That's a word. That's a word to use. I would just call it terrible.
I did say I will be using Salamence or Metagross when Champions comes out. It's just I'm legally obligated to as a Salamence player and as it being my favorite Pokemon. And also Mega Salamence is good, but I don't know how good it's going to be because they already showed that Fluttermane's going to be in the game. And if Fluttermane's in the game, that changes things.
Oh, hi everybody, we're live.
Wow.
What?
I got everything fixed. So not only did I have to go and update everything for the week, I had to go update everything in general because it's the other layout, because it's the 4-person layout. I haven't touched this 4-person layout since spring of 2025. I think that's the season that's pink. Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah.
So that would have been what else was in that season? My brain's breaking. Yeah, stuff, but hi everybody, welcome. Mason's back, Austin's gone. It's just, you know, it be like that sometimes.
Permanently.
We're not gonna go into immense detail about it, but know that essentially what this boils down to is Austin could not do this week, and it is not going to be able to do future weeks. With, like, there is a small caveat that there probably may have been a chance that he could have come back for the finale, but the reason that's not going to happen is because he would have to catch up on everything that we are watching, and most likely one of our shows is going to make it to the finale, and it is not a good idea for him to finish watching that show right now. So even if it was possible, it's almost certainly not going to happen this season. So if we see Austin, he will be back. He'll be back for next season.
Eventually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But so that is what that looks like. We're here early because this was the day we could podcast. It's so weird to be doing this podcast not at like 9 o'clock at night. Really weird.
Mm-hmm.
We will. We might also do it next week like this. Because I think next week Saturday's the good day for John again.
Yeah, I can do Saturdays.
Because I don't think you can do Sunday next week, right?
Yeah.
If I
work
remember.
Saturday, Sunday, Monday. I'll send you guys my new schedule because the next month is finally out.
Okay.
Because there's some tweaks that happened, but I will send that in chat and make sure we're updated. But, that one we might have to actually be on time for. But at that point, we'll have 6 shows, because that's right, this will be a double vote-off. And we'll only be watching one show for that, so that episode should go relatively quick. Unlike this one.
Um,
Yeah.
which we should probably just get on into this because this is gonna be a time. So we are watching episodes 5, 6, and 7. Because Fate is here, so we have a 5 and 6, and then a 7 and a 6 for the episode combinations. So yeah, so those are we'll get through it all. 2 episodes for all of our shows, and then 2 shows are gonna go at the end of the night. So there will be spoilers for those episodes, and there's gonna be harsh language. And I'm currently grabbing the power ranking. The power ranking is now a square. Don't ask me how it became a square, but it's a square.
Square.
It's the ranking of power, the power ranking.
So there's your square ass power ranking. It takes up the entire screen on my OBS, so it's readable. Unlike some of the other ones where it's usually too small to probably read it on stream. But this one's very readable. John, congrats, you have bolts. This is funny because this is also the part of the season where like the bolts usually stopped when we were a podcast before, because like usually the split is like the split is in a way where it's very difficult sometimes. Usually we have a pretty clear defined top, bottom, and like a weird middle. This week John's the only person who's made a decision about a certain show, whereas the rest of us feel a certain way. We'll get to that when we talk about it. Important note from me. Boy, if this was 2 separate weeks, one of these top finishes would be a polar opposite finishes.
Yep.
It's just the problem is for me personally is that these were both 2 really incredible episodes of Journal of Witch, and we'll talk about it obviously. And I think one of these episodes of Polar Opposites is a little weaker than the other in my opinion. They're both still great, but like that's the only reason why why that looks like that for me. In the same way, probably. If this was a 2 split week, one of these weeks' sentence would be 3 and Fate would be 4. But it's a double week, so that's how that works for me too. It'd be like that sometimes. Double vote offs are weird. I want you to know, by the way, I'm gonna hate doing stats for the final episode of the podcast because we have 2 weeks where we have 5 people. Well, we have 3 weeks where we have 5 people's PRs, and then we'll have like 4 weeks where we'll have 4 people's PRs. So the top 3 finish count will be really funky, and I'm gonna hate it. But that's my problem to deal with, and nobody else's. That's right, guys. Layout's right. Michael, let's get into this. Enjoy talking about 2 episodes of Fate. Go on, do it.
So I think I'm thinking back on episode 5. Gonna watch episodes 5 and 6, and I'm like,
what happened?
I had to go open it to check something. There's a grand total of 0 frames outside of the opening where Ayaka is on screen.
Yeah. No,
Ayaka's just not in episode 5.
No, isn't she at the very end? Because I thought the very end is,
the very end is when Sigma meets Assassin the first time.
But I thought we see her when he falls out the window, at the very end.
No, that's the segment at the end of episode 7.
No, because I swear,
episode 6.
I swear it cliffhangs on 5, and we have to work our way back to that reveal because her and Saber are standing out there at the end of 5. And then you have to spend the entire episode of 7.
She does just appear there.
Yeah,
because we've been following him the entire episode.
I was gonna say that's the thing. Is you're like, why is Ayaka there? And then you have to wait the entirety of episode 7,
I scrubbed through the
6 to
episode,
find
and
out.
She doesn't appear in any of the things that happen.
Yeah, no, I don't.
Every like 5-second interval, she disappears.
Why did I?
Segment.
Maybe I'm confusing it for episode 4. I also thought, cause I thought 5's the episode where we get introduced to the devil, in the hospital. And I swear we had a shot of Saber talking to Ayaka about it as well. But maybe I'm insane. It might just be a scene with Jack and or Boy.
Yeah, it's probably Jack.
But I thought we also had one with. I could be wrong. I know you're right in that she's very not present in episode 5.
Yeah, no, I think
compared to 6.
I think you're getting with the flat talking to Jack. Anyway.
Yeah.
Episode 5 spends almost a large amount of runtime introducing a new character who I don't think he's ever named in the episode, but in the episode description they call him Sigma, so I will call him Sigma because I don't want to call him the kid introduced in episode 5 over and over. And that's also what it says in the character name list. I don't know why no one says his name. because he doesn't have a name. It's like the Kunon, because we learn this kid. It's Sigma. He's not a kid actually. He just looks like a child because of course.
It's actually a 98-year-old man
He's
transported into the body of a
he's like a very
17-year-old.
normal. He's like an adult age. He's like in his like mid-20s or something. He just looks
Classic
like he's
Sigma.
12. Yeah. And he is introduced as someone who is connected to our Faldeus and the girl I don't remember the name of, the one with the mouth for a stomach, Francesca. I don't know if we actually have ever gotten her name. Don't worry.
I think
about
we
it.
have by now, I believe.
Yeah, I think she said it once. And I was like, oh shit, she finally said her name.
Yeah.
And we just know he is like a soldier or something who's vaguely connected to them. And he is also now pushed to become another master in the True Grail War. He becomes the master of Check's Notes. Lancer ? He gets a servant that they don't give a name. We just know it's a whale spirit thing that observes. It is given the sub like class name of Watcher, and we know that Sigma is going to become the Lancer. And we're told this through 6 individual like spirits forming around him that go, yeah, you're gonna become the Lancer. Yeah, you're gonna become the Lancer. And these are all like beings that are shadows created by this larger spirit. So I'm guessing the idea is that these are all previous people that this spirit has like interacted and made them heroes in their time or something. Maybe.
You know what this show needed? A character like this. Definitely.
Yeah, because what this episode does, it starts with a timer on the bottom right. It goes 20 hours before the Canyon battle. Because we have to introduce all the parts that were important when we got to the battle from episode 4. So after we're introduced to Sigma, we get a blonde character who I don't think we'd seen before, and we learn he is the one who summons Heracles. And upon summoning Heracles, he does the baller ass move of immediately dropping all 3 command seals. Where he first asks for Heracles to drop his
2.
facade.
No, he does all 3.
Oh,
He
it is
does
all
3.
3?
He gives 3 commands because I have all 3 commands written down.
Okay.
I rewatched this episode to
Which
remember
is
exactly what all 3 were.
Mason, it's fair you think that because you're not supposed to do this.
Because generally, upon using all 3 command seals, you lose power over your servant.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They usually
so he
kinda
says,
just kill you.
yeah. So he first says, Heracles, I need you to drop your facade. Then the second command seal, remember every human you've observed, where he immediately remembers being ridiculed because that's the parts of the story of Heracles. People are kind of like, yeah, he's weird. And then as Heracles is about to body this man, he uses his third command seal to say to accept the true human of all, the true nature of all humans, or true nature of humans, where we see Heracles kind of break down and form into the red one we had seen in the fight in episode 4. And now he's angry. Anyway, other shit occurs. He kind of shows Heracles, this guy, because Heracles goes, yeah, I gotta use a lot of magic power. So Heracles kind of, and then the guy goes, yes, don't worry, I got 100 batteries down. And those batteries are essentially just human beings inside of big pods and stuff. Don't worry, but he has magical power. And we're also introduced. We also see more of the young girl, whose parents were very weird in the intro, in the episode 0. And we see Flat and Jack talk about shit, and then we get cliffhangered with Sigma interacting with False Assassin, and also Ayek is there. Why is she there? Don't worry about it. We'll maybe answer it in episode 6. So episode 6. The majority of this episode is taken up by a fight between Richard and Enkidu. Because Richard goes, hey, we gotta go find some friends. We gotta go get some allies. So he goes into the forest and finds Enkidu, and Enkidu goes, okay, so you're like maybe we could be allies, but I do have a friend and he's kind of fussy. So I gotta make sure you're strong. And then they have this sick ass fight. And throughout this, we learn bits and pieces about Richard's past. partially through Richard telling us stuff, and most of it through Falsecaster, explaining stuff to Orlando on the phone. And essentially and we get the stupid funny reveal about Richard, which is that one, he is the world's biggest nerd on Arthur Pendragon. Because
real life facts about Richard the First, by the way.
Yes.
is a true thing about him in real life.
Did you know Richard the First is a big fan of Arthur Pendragon?
And the way this gets manifested is that essentially the power of every servant is always determined. That they show this off mainly with Jack in this show, where it is not, you're not summoning the person themselves, you are summoning the embodiment of what people believed them to do. So the way this happens with him is that he christened multiple of his own items, his own sword as a knife, a pen, and a stick as Excalibur. So what this means is that if he wishes, he can, if he believes the thing he is holding is Excalibur, it becomes Excalibur. And if you know anything about Fate, Excalibur's a really powerful sword.
And
does
the most
stupid
powerful
things.
sword.
It's so fucking silly.
He's just
Yeah. Oh, we also learn that Richard, as much as he puts on this like really goofy persona, is doing that to kind of hide the fact that he is a man with a very troubled past. He was betrayed a shit ton in his time, and also was a man who was like constantly trudging through warfare. That's kind of how things happened in those times. Lots of wars happened. We also get this random flashback where we're introduced to some random dude who calls himself Saint Germain. Which Saint Germain is this supposed to be? I don't know. Probably supposed to be the Count of Saint Germain. You know, a man that lived 600 years after Richard the First did. A man who is who is fabled to have lived for very long because he knew a lot of things or something. I don't know. What's another crazy stupid thing that happens in this episode? Also we get El Malloy recognizing Ayaka in a photo, even though Ayaka has different hair color than she normally does. Like, because she was a student of El Malloy's at some point. This will certainly be important at some point. And we also know Enkidu's master, the dog, normally doesn't like humans, but really likes Ayaka. There's definitely no reason why Ayaka in particular would be ruled out here. Anyway, yeah, that was Fate. Fate was silly these 2 weeks. And I'm just so interested every week in Fate. I just want to see what the fuck they're gonna pull out next. Oh, I forgot. We also get the thing with Jack invading the hospital where Jester was.
We do get one other thing too, which I don't feel bad about you forgetting this because it is by far the most confusing fucking thing that happens in these 2 episodes. Francesca is also a master and has a servant who looks like a male version of her. What are we doing?
Don't worry about it.
And they talk as if they are one being. What?
Fate.
What are you doing over here?
Fate.
Fate machine
Yeah.
going
Just
bird.
Fate things.
Fate Machine goes better. Yeah. But no, this fight scene with Enkidu and Richard is absolutely fucking incredible. Only slightly tempered by the fact that the rest of the episode's animation kind of takes a hit for it at times, where like we do a lot of interesting cuts and framing to kind of pull back the budget of having to draw everything in this episode. But they do it in a way that I don't think is bad. They do it in a way that I actually think is really neat and really fun for a lot of cool shots in the forest with Richard. But yeah, this fight scene fucking rules. And I really, really like everything we get. We kind of get here from episode 7. This is by far the more enjoyable episode for me of these 2. 6. Sorry, it's 6, not 7. We're not there yet. But episode 6. Because like everything with Ayaka and Richard is really well done. I really enjoy it in this episode. The small caveat being that like I feel like Ayaka maybe I feel like she doesn't quite stand her ground too hard about how she feels about some of the things Richard is doing without like consulting her right away. Like she feels like she does just kind of give up in arguing with him, but also she also doesn't necessarily seem like the person who would like really take a hard stance about this, so I'm not too bothered by it. But I feel like this felt like it was going to be a bigger thing, their conflict with each other, and it kind of just goes away, which is probably fine because we have so much other shit we have to focus on.
No, I agree.
Yeah.
I think it hurts my brain to watch sometimes, but it is.
But it's very pretty.
It does. I do look very pretty though.
It do look very. As much as it hurts my brain, I trust that by the end things will maybe possibly make sense.
They'll start to make sense. Maybe.
I'm here for the ride.
It hurts my brain, but I like our other action shows a little bit more than it right now. Is kind of where I'm at. That's kind of where I've just been sitting at with it.
I think that's very fair.
Yeah.
Again, there's like, this is an odd trade-off where like, this is actually really interesting for me because like, it truly is, the 2 episodes of Fate in my mind are slightly better than the 2 episodes of Sentenced. Predominantly because when we talk about it, I really like Sentence's episode 7. I'm not a big fan of its episode 6 comparatively. Whereas like this episode 5 for Fate it's good, it's Fate, and this episode 6 is really good. Is like where my head was at for these 2 shows. But we'll talk about that when we talk about Sentence. More so. The other thing I really I do like the idea of this alliance. There is a really interesting thing I pointed out to Michael that has me a little confused still, which is after the fight with Enkidu, and when Assassin shows up, False Assassin shows up, they're like, okay, we're gonna work together, Richard, Enkidu, and this assassin, and we have 3 threats we have to get rid of. What's your third one? Because the 2 are Jester. It's Jester and the devil, the death plague. That is, I think it's just death from the Bible. That's my guess. It's because it's a shadow that is actively causing people to die. So I think it would be pestilence, but
yeah, again,
I think
Rider being a horseman of the apocalypse fits so well into the Rider class.
Yeah, but it's like, so what's your third problem? Like, who does Richard need to get rid of? Because, like, I assume it's someone Richard's pinpointed. Yeah, buddy?
Barf.
They
have an opinion about Fate.
I've never heard him howl like that. You gotta.
He's trying to call Excalibur.
What's he doing?
You gotta give me a minute. I gotta go make sure this boy's okay. But yeah, I'm interested to see what that turns out to be, and I think the concept of an alliance is really neat. Do you guys want to talk about Sentence while I am gone to start?
I guess I can talk about Sentence to be a hero. We had some stuff happen. So we finished off with this kind of like pseudo war going on, where we defend the fortress, in which Xylo finally hops off his commander perch and starts getting involved, where he just kind of flies over everything straight to the big demon. Is Mason frozen? No, he's just locked in. It looked for a second like he can't, because it's just like, but so Xylo gets in there. He's taking on the big bad. He lures it into this giant like minefield that he created just to create like a sinkhole effectively, and then Terita drops the fucking giant ass fucking Excalibur sword on top of it and is like, that should hold it for a hot minute. And then it doesn't, because, plot progression. So it's like non-dying demon basically shoots out like a almost like pot of itself. Fires off a bunch of spikes. Is going to hit Terita, and Xylo blocks one of them. And then Terita makes the fucking like void sword of disappearing effectively. That she's like, I'm gonna pull from another world. I don't know how long it's gonna hold, but it should kill it. Xylo comes up, stabs the demon, twists it a little bit, gets banished. That's it. It's gone. It just gets fucking erased. And then he passes out. And then in episode 7, we wake up in a new city, a port city of Loth, in which they're like, don't worry, you're now in my charge, and I've reassigned you to this city. And he's like, okay, so you're saying this city's more dangerous than the front lines right now? And she's like, precisely. Because demons that are disguised as humans are amongst the city because a squadron of soldiers just got wiped out randomly near this area. So they're pretty sure there's demons just existing amongst the humans here. Oh, also the clergy has like some heretics who want to kill Terita, so we have to deal with that too. So Xylo and Terita, well, first they meet up with Xylo's former / current fiance from when he was a hero, who's from like another continent or area, and she's awesome. From the little bit we get, you have what is her name again? Should have this pulled up a second ago, but I forgot to pull it up. Kivia, who's eavesdropping because she's like, I was just listening in. I wasn't jealous at all about you talking to your former fiance, the hero. We also meet Jace, who is a dragon rider, who's also a hero, who tried to lead a rebellion to free the dragons, and that's how he became a hero. Like I said, so after the meeting with Frenchie,
don't forget the other character we meet with Jace is a very important secondary character Jace introduces.
Did we meet Rhino?
No, we get Neely.
Neely, yeah.
How you gonna forget about
Neely?
Neely? The best part about Jace.
Neely's such a good girl. Good girl dragon. And so we go out into the city then, where Xylo and Terita and Kivia are disguised, and they're looking at some of the shopping districts when he buys Terita a knife and says, use this if you have to. Foreshadowing. Dangerous foreshadowing. In which, again, hard read. She's gonna stab herself with that knife to keep herself from turning into a demon. That's gonna be like way down the line in like season 2. But either way, the cultists try to ambush them in the streets. They took out a bunch of the guard in the second route they were supposed to meet up in, and we meet 2 individuals who named themselves when they shouldn't, which was Bojum and who's the other one? What was her name? The first assassin. Do you guys remember?
I don't.
Is
is
that the one named
Shiji Bao. Yeah, Shiji Bao.
I'm like, look at the characters. I think that's that one.
And so Shiji Bao appears first, and Sav, who's with them, tries to stab her, in which one of their arms is like the morphing arms, so it like just cuts up his arm really bad. And they can turn into different weapons and stuff, basically, that we're seeing. And then Bujum appears, and Terryton makes an interesting comment. It's like, he's weird. Usually I don't want to harm people, like innately, because I'm a goddess, and I'm an ally of humans. I don't feel that towards this human. That's wrong. Which implies that Bujum is also our they had a name for it, but likely that demon that's in disguise as a human in the city.
The demon lord. I don't remember its name.
It's like it starts like an S. Hang on, processing.
See, I just remember the last one was Iblis because that's the Sonic 06 character.
Yeah, exactly.
The only reason I remember any of them is that Iblis is the Sonic 06 villain.
What is it called?
The Iblis trigger.
The Iblis trigger. The Mephistopheles.
But I do like the addition of Jace. Well, they're fighting in this alley basically, and then they're saved because Jace comes in with the dragon and burns everybody in there, and they're like, problem solved. And you have the demon who's like, I lost a lot of blood with this. I'll be back. Fire's not great matchup for me.
That was kind of toasty.
That was a little hot. Anyways, I'll come back as you see his body like morphing into different shapes and stuff as he just like disappears. But I love Jace. He's funny. Our first introduction is him barging in and just literally going, I heard you took out a demon lord. I took out 2, so that means I'm better. And we're all just like
sitting here.
We also watched him kill 2.
I watched him kill 3 essentially. 2.5 because there's the first one.
The first one with Kivia.
Technically, you could say that the king gets the second one in the mines. That's another demon lord.
Oh yeah, that was a demon lord.
That's why they're in the mines. Is there's a demon lord there?
They gave the king credit for that one, and they gave Kivia the credit for the first one, basically, to cover their own asses.
I'm like, he very clearly he does.
They couldn't deny this one because he literally vaporized it into the void. So And we get an interesting little aside too when he meets with Frenchie, his fiance, who's like, "I'm still working to get you a pardon," which implies getting him out of his frontline hero sentence, basically. Um, at least for like a lifetime, maybe. Who knows? Um, so that's a very interesting like side plot kind of going on. And there's a lot of little things introduced in this kind of series to start this next arc. I always hate I guess it's not really a false Hydra, but like, you know what I mean, where it's like enemies amongst an area. I don't love those kind of like uncomfortable, like the villain kind of has to reveal themselves situation, because it feels kind of like a wait and just exist game. But I guess we'll see. Because I guess they're kind of just making themselves known right away here. So I don't know. What do you guys think about Hero the last 2 weeks?
I really enjoy it. I just this world is a lot of fun to be in. I enjoy every single character we meet. Like even Jace, who is like your stereotypical like thick-headed asshole, is still a fun character. Because it's just the bit of these two going at it when they are functionally the same. It's just Xylo has a bit more experience to realize that there's no point in fighting about it. But yeah, I very much enjoyed these 2 episodes.
Yeah, six was solid. Six has the issue in my head where when I think about it, I just go, "Wow, look, Xylo did the thing again, beated the Demon Lord using the power of the goddess. Yippee wahoo, he did."
Maybe
it.
fair. It was kind of cool though.
I'm not saying it
was
wasn't
pretty sick.
cool. It's just that's how we've defeated essentially
I'm
three.
gonna be real,
I was
but
like,
like,
again, at
isn't
least
this the
Mind's
same kind
Norgal
of action
kinda
we
is
just
the
get in
goat.
Fate, where it's just like, they use their god power to fight the other god power. Just this one does this thing and this one does this thing.
I don't know.
The benefit you get from this is that like the team does, like, you get the assist from Saab from halfway across the map, right? And so like it's not necessarily just Xylo doing this fight
Oh
all
yeah,
on
Saab
his
also
own.
does have like a sick
Yeah,
like
he
knife
does get
shot
like
to,
the shot to block a
Yeah.
hit Xylo was gonna get.
But I agree in that to me
You
it's
also see Tatsuya just pop off in the tunnels too. I forgot to mention that.
oh yeah, that scene's sick as fuck. He's
Like,
insane.
Tatsuya and Norgal go absolutely crazy in the mine section. I love the mines because Tatsuya and Norgal are great.
But like in the
Yeah.
underground waterway, Michael, they have the bit where all
Oh.
the knights are
Oh,
coming
yeah.
down and like the knights on our side are like, oh, what are we gonna do? And Tatsuya just kind of steps up and literally goes and murders a bunch of people in the darkness.
Literally turns them to mist.
Yeah. No, I think I assume, Michael, you were saying that like the repetitiveness of like, oh cool, we've defeated a 3rd demon lord.
It's how a lot of shows like this go when they're
Yes.
action, where it's like, go to thing, fight thing, beat thing, go to thing, fight thing, beat thing, go to thing, fight thing, beat thing.
Yeah. The important takeaway is the acceptance that we are getting from Xylo towards Terrorita at the end of this fight.
Yeah.
Which
I'm
is
not
like,
saying it's bad. It's just
I also don't like the part where it's like, I clearly see you overexerted yourself, proceeds to exert self even more, no repercussions, right? I don't love that part of it, right?
I mean, there's like, it implies that they were like knocked out for a minute.
Well, no, for sure,
Yeah.
but like, it's one of those things where though it's like, you don't do the thing, you're already exhausted, and then proceeds to do thing again.
Well,
The
you
argument-
can't say that there's no repercussions when there were clearly repercussions. is
like
the thing.
there's repercussions for Xylo. I don't think we're at the point yet where Terrorita has pushed herself too far, but Xylo is obviously worried about it because trauma, right? Like any amount of overexertion is really bad in his mind because it gets her closer to the idea of like she could die and he's not having that again.
Yeah.
I think the thing that is difficult for me is that this arc sets up like there's going to be something really like I kind of mentioned it as we were building to it, where it's like, okay, so what is the plan for this? Because like the government goes, cool, we're gonna fucking kill them all with poison. And it's like, why can't... And my immediate question is, why isn't the new plan just Xylo goes and kills the Demon Lord like he's done the past 2 times? And the answer was the plan was for Xylo to go kill the Demon Lord. He just needed a little... Like, it almost feels like there's an extra level of, like, oh no, things have gone really wrong because there are now humans involved, which is fair, but it's like, I feel like everybody panicked a little too much when, like, I don't really see how much different this has gone than every other fight you've gone with Xylo in, right? To me, it's like the stakes maybe don't quite match up with, like, what we are delivered. Maybe in my mind I was like, oh, we're gonna get another layer of this that's really cool. This is still a really great episode, and the cool sword is real cool.
And due to the funny
we
vocal
also
blade
have-
stuff.
We have the setup that like their like liaison to the government or whatever is like, you guys have to stay in the castle because we are forcing you to stay in it, and we never really get a resolution to the someone had to stay behind or else everyone was going to explode.
Well, yeah, because again, they were going
inside the castle grounds the whole time.
because they were gonna use the poison in the castle ground, but they don't, right? Like, Xylo just says, screw it.
Again, the way I interpreted the whole setup was that it didn't matter if they defeated it. They were using the poison anyway to kill the hero. That's why they wanted them all locked there. Is because they wanted the heroes to get punishment for doing their job.
Say that.
That's maybe, yes, and maybe
but
is
the fact that we essentially never get a resolution that
Yes.
they turned off the seals, that were going to blow everyone up if everyone left, because Benetton's able to talk them down to if everyone leaves.
Yeah.
So they had to have at least one person in the castle.
Perhaps that is the fair and right critique of this arc of it, is that you have like conflict and setup in relation to all these people in the castle, and the resolution seems to be Xylo has killed the Demon Lord, so all of the demons are gone, everybody is safe, and the church's plan just can't happen. But you also don't get to see any of that, right? Like, Xylo...
You also, like, see the castle, like, go up in flames.
Yeah, Xylo knocks out.
It seems like
and...
the people from the mining colony are fucked.
Yeah, we don't really get... We don't get a good visual, like,
Right.
conclusion to any of the tension set up around the fort. I think that is fair. But it's all okay, because this next episode kicks ass.
Yeah, I think Jace is a neat introduction. Neely's awesome. I think we immediately get the, hey, here's our villain. What the fuck are we gonna do about them?
Yo, shoutouts to Xylo's fiance. Did we talk about her? She's phenomenal.
Oh, Frenchie.
She's so fucking hysterical.
I'm gonna love Frenchie, bro.
I love this. I love the interaction of Dario just being like, and who do you think you are? And so I was like, I told you already. She's my fiance. And then
She's my former wife.
Yeah.
And she's like, what do you mean former? I have not thrown off the engagement, whether you're a hero or not, motherfucker. I will pardon your ass and beat your ass myself before I let you leave this relationship. I will trade all of my soldiers for your dumb ass.
I do think I am not a fan of Jace's introduction to us immediately, because he walks up to Xylo and goes, oh, you killed one demon lord? And I'm like, no, he hasn't. He's killed 3. He killed one in the past. He killed
No,
one
like I said,
yesterday,
the best part
but
about it is him going, I killed 2, and he just goes, wasn't the other guy like carrying your sorry ass for both those? He went, no, because I said so. He's like, wasn't Rhino boosting you? And he's like, no, together, so it still counts for me.
I guess the idea is that, like, they're only counting the mission that Xylo was just on, and maybe the mission that the 2 of them were on, they killed too.
I love that he's giving Dota credit for the first one, by the way.
Yeah.
Of all people to give credit to it,
I mean,
he's like, Dota
you know what?
carried the first one. I mean, he got the
Technically-
bomb, sure, but like,
technically, I guess
no.
I guess that's true. Xylo only really does kill the 3rd one, doesn't he? Because Dota gets the bomb, and Norgal stabs the eye.
See,
So,
but
like-
the thing is, Xylo still
Yes,
sets the bomb.
it is. Xylo does indeed still do everything, but it is funny to think
You
about.
Give Norgal the second one for sure, because like he did do that, but like at the very least you got to give him the first one.
But even then, like, the eye Norgal gets isn't actually the final, like, the right one, right? Like, Xylo still has to kill the actual real thing, I think, right?
Yeah, right.
Like, it's still Xylo. It's really funny. Wow.
Oh, that was good. I just like this one better than Fate in terms of like
I think it is.
story-wise,
Yeah.
'cause
it is much more straightforward, right? Like you know exactly always the things that are going on and the plots that are behind the scenes.
The plots have
You
depth,
have
but they're not as like
yes.
convoluted. Like what's his name? Map from I don't even know what the fucking one show is, bro. I don't. You know what I'm talking about? Where it's like all the red lines all over the place. Because that's what Fate feels like sometimes. Where it's just like
fucking Charlie Day and Always Sunny.
yeah, Charlie Day from that. Where it's just like this fucking crazy board of just like connections. It's like I understand it. This saber and this rider and this fake rider and this fake and
yeah.
Whereas here it's like funny man with sword, go burr. Also, church is bad. Shocker.
But how bad are they?
It's pretty bad.
Pretty bad.
Pretty bad.
Who's worse though, the church or the demons who are also maybe a part of the government but not fully the church?
The church that is the demons, that is part of the church, but also the heretics from the church, but also not the church.
Shouts this episode for giving us an absolutely rad shot. I need to get her name because I forgot. Akivia. An absolutely great shot of Akivia in men's clothing. Phenomenal. Thank you, show. I appreciate it greatly. So I was like, wow, you're pulling that off great. And she blushes and he's like, you really do look like a guy. And she wants to kill him. It's great. I love it. This dynamic is what the dynamic of also them finishing the conversation with the fiance and Akivia being there. And she's like, who the fuck are you? And she's like, I have to be here. And she's like, you're a terrible liar. God. Okie dokie.
Shit's good.
Mason, have fun.
Yeah. So, Journal with Witch. So, episode 6, we mostly focus on Makio and Kasamichi getting closer. They chat a little bit. Like Makio keeps thinking about him because at one point Asa invites Emery over. Emery asks Makio if she's married or if she's like single or what's going on there. And she's like, I'd rather not talk about that, please. She's like, well, why not? She's like, I just don't want to. What about you? Why are you looking for someone? Are you looking for advice? Like, what's going on? And she makes a comment of like, oh, I don't know about like getting a boyfriend. She's like, you can love whoever you want or not. Like, it's fine. Do what you want to do, girl. It's all good. And then we get a bit of, we get this really neat visual with them of Makio like running a tea stand in the forest and Emery like getting the tea from her. It's just this really neat like metaphor, like visual metaphor of what's happening here, of like Emery kind of getting told something that opens something up for her, which I will get into in a bit. And then after this, hijinks ensue that cause Makio to send a text to Kasamichi that she didn't initially want to send, but it works out. And they go and get greasy Chinese food and drink. And the whole time Makio's like, wait, he's hot. Why the fuck didn't I notice that before? What the hell? And just throughout this entire conversation, they're having this really nice, like, kind of heart-to-heart, and, like, just joking around and stuff. And meanwhile, Makio's like, I want him. I want him so fucking bad. Holy shit. No, Makio, you broke his heart. Don't do that to him. But also, fuck, I want to get laid. They end up leaving Chinese, and they go for a little stroll in the park for a bit. And they have an actual conversation about what's going on and like how kind of weird, but they're in a weird spot right now. And why they're in that spot of when they broke up before, it was pretty rough because Makio is a very unique person that does not handle other people very well and only can do it sometimes. So they, as opposed to like fully breaking off any contact with each other, Kasamichi begs her to stay friends. They do that. Well, now they're no longer just friends anymore by the end of this episode. They're definitely like a situationship at the very least. And then episode 7. while all of these things have been going on, during the time that Makio and Asa were cleaning out her old house, Makio found a journal from Asa's mom to Asa to give to her when she was 20. And that's all that Makio read because she was like, nope, not doing this. Nope, not opening that can of worms. Cannot do that right now. And Asa finds it. I'll get to how she finds it in a little bit because that's how the show does it. But we then move to Emery and her mom go out with Makio and Asa, and they just kind of like chat with each other for a minute. Emery and Asa end up going off to buy swimsuits, but Makio and Emery's mom, I think it's Mikoto, they have a very interesting chat about how Makio is not Asa's parent and she is not raising her because that was her parents' job and she is not going to like sully that memory of them or anything like that. She's not going to ever take the place of her parents, but she is her guardian and she does care for her and like take care of her. And it's this really interesting thing for Mikoto of like, I'm a very different she makes a mention of like I'm a very different person from how I was before I was a parent, but I wouldn't like I have my regrets, sure, but I also wouldn't change anything for this because this is my life now. It's just this very interesting conversation about like parenthood that's really pretty emotionally like touching. Meanwhile, Emery and Asa are talking, and Asa brings up that Emery's been asked out by a boy, and is like, "Ooh, did you say yes?" And she's like, "No, I didn't. I said no." And Asa's like, "Oh, well, why?" And she's like, "I just don't really care about I don't want to get a boyfriend." She's like, "Oh, well, what if it's a girlfriend?" And Emery kind of like stops for a second and then moves on and gets annoyed with Asa because she keeps pestering her. Girl, just say you're a lesbian. It's fine. It's all okay. Then we see that Makio had ended up giving her a DVD the last time that they were over, and it ruined Emery in the best way possible because it kind of like just it seemed very like formational for her. We also during this episode we get flashes of what Asa's mom was actually like because Mikoto knew her and was like kind of friendly with her. And we see that Mikoto was just as hard on her, or not Mikoto, but Asa's mom was just as hard on herself as we've seen her be to Makio. Like a lot of the same things that she said to Makio, it seems she was saying to herself of like, why can't you do anything that's this simple? So we get a bit more in like context as to the way that Asa's mom was and why she was the way that she was. I don't have much else to say on what actually happened in this episode because I can't really remember anything else, but just these two episodes are once again incredible. Like I consider both of these like 9s or 10s for both of these episodes. It's just beautiful seeing how this story unfolds and how these characters just like grow with each other. What did y'all think?
Dude, that fucking second episode was like so heavy. Like, especially with
Yeah.
recent stuff. It's just like the line that stuck with me the most was definitely the one where it's like she's talking with the other mom at the diner, right? And just going like, "Oh no, I'm not her parent. Like I'll never be her parent. I'm never going to raise her. I can only protect her and hope that what little bit of raising my sister and her dad did is enough." Like basically. And then like I said, right after that, cutting to the mom who obviously no one sees this besides us, right? Where it's like her past, where it's like she actually didn't have a perfect relationship with her dad, with Asa's dad. In fact, they weren't really like a married couple. They were just together for the sake of the fact she was pregnant, basically. And so it was like, well, I guess we have to get married because I'm going to raise this kid, and we are in a area of a country in which having kids outside of marriage is not a normal thing to do. So
And they didn't end up actually getting married.
did they not? Is that
No,
Rebecca's
they don't.
term?
No, they
No,
don't. Yeah, they
They are
keep.
not married.
I thought she was gonna announce that like at that dinner, and then like
No.
okay,
She's
gonna
just
announce that she's
faking
pregnant.
it for them.
Yeah, they.
No,
Yeah.
she's just faking it.
Okay.
They flat out say that they in the conversation with Emiru's mother, they talk about how oh my god, my brain, dude. They talk about how Makio flat out says like I didn't even know my sister wasn't married until the news report, because they report them with different last names as the couple. Like, so they are a couple with a child who still have separate last names. So it's like the idea of like, oh, because you've reported this, you are reporting their names factually. She still has her maiden name, because they never marry.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Uh,
yeah, that part alone just like hit me the hardest. Where it's just like, oh, fuck.
We did not we did not talk too much about this. This last episode has a lot going on during it. So again, it does the really great thing that Mason talks about all the time about it, where it frames the episode, like it frames a part of the past by looking at a part of the present. And so the framing of it this week is that you have this dynamic of like, okay, this is how two characters in the present are viewing what motherhood is like. One of them is saying, I can't be a mother. The other is saying, like, my life has become better as a mother. And then you use that to frame what Minori was as a parent to Asa. And it does a really, really good job of showing that, like, of just showing that dynamic. And on the complete other side of this, we have the conversation with Kasamichi and Daigo, which is fucking phenomenal the whole way through.
I meant to.
Yes,
I forgot to talk about
I
that.
figured you did, because I figured this part of the episode was also a little rough. Where essentially Kasamichi is like, well, they're talking about it. Daigo's like, so something happened here with you and Makio, right? Like recently, like there's a shift in the water, I can tell. And Kasamichi kind of explains it, but they wind up more talking about like how the two of them met and like what the breakup was like. And Kasamichi was like, yeah, I was depressed, not because of the breakup. I was just depressed. And he's like, and I didn't.
Work wasn't going well.
Yeah.
I didn't want to work at the bank anymore.
And
Other
like
stuff was happening with relationship stuff. Just everything was bad.
And he delivers the wonderful line that is like I used to look at people who were depressed and be like, I don't get it. Like how, like, that doesn't make any sense. Like you should be able to work around it. And then I realized that I was depressed, and I realized, oh shit, this is what this is like. And I just really couldn't tell anybody until I had, like, he essentially says, I couldn't tell anybody I was depressed until I was out of it. Because, and then like, I've been there, dude. You don't, it's a lot easier to tell somebody you had depression once you are in a better spot than when you have depression. But you get the really wonderful scene that is him, like, he tells Makio about it, and Makio's response is, you slept a lot, right? And I love that. She's great. She's wonderful. You caught up on all your sleep, right? That must be nice. But yeah, the end of this episode, looping back around to Asa finding the notebook, because she overhears the conversation between Makio and Kasamichi, where she, like, I will say, I think the part of her reaction to this that is maybe not fair, is that she starts to view it as like, oh, Makio is hiding this from me. As far as we are supposed to believe, she should hear this conversation in most of its full length, but maybe she does only catch the tail end of it. But Makio makes it pretty clear that, like, she has all intents, like, all purposes, she plans to give this book to Asa, but she's only...
No matter what.
Yeah, like, In fact,
she was 20. Like her
well,
mom wanted her to.
in fact, she's almost contemplating whether she should give it to her now because she
Now.
almost thinks it might be more beneficial for her to have this kind of closure or knowledge about her mother now than have to wait till she's 20. If anything,
Now,
yeah, if
without that
anything,
conversation, it looks so bad, and
But,
it
like-
sounds so bad, and it's just
but like Makio, if anything, is actually doing like kind of everything right here by how she's handled the situation. It's just as a kid, Asa's like, well, I should have immediately been given this. And it's like, well, you're not thinking about what your mother's wishes were, which is she wanted you to have this when you turned 20. Obviously, she didn't know she was gonna fucking die.
Yeah.
But it is... I will be interested to see if she talks to Makio about this journal, because I think Makio will have some very clean-cut insights about her sister's writing if it gets shared with her. That, like, because, like, Asa's whole thing is, okay, I'm sitting here, I'm reading this, and you're saying you love me, but I have no way or knowledge to know if that is true because you're not here, right? Like, you could have wrote, she says you could have wrote anything. It didn't have to be the phrase, I love you. That just happens to be what you wrote, and you could have just done that out of, like...
pity or...
Well, like, out of, like, that's just what you say to your daughter, right? Like, you close a letter to your daughter.
Obligation.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Outside of that, like, episode 6 as, like, its own episode, what a nice breath of fresh air episode 6 is. Because, like, it's still heavy-hitting, and it's still, like, serious, and it has all the adult tones, but you get an episode where it's just Makio and Kasamichi. And it is really nice to have, like, the show go, hey, this author who isolates herself a lot and, like, works alone and likes to be alone really wants to fuck this hot guy. And it's such a really great premise of the episode. We also to only be followed up by episode 7, where Daigo's like, where Kasamichi's like, have you heard anything about her talking about this hot young lawyer? And Daigo's like, what? No. He doesn't sound anything like her type. And he's like, I'm just a little worried. She's like, why? You should not be.
Hypothetically, like...
I'm really interested to see where they go on this plot point with Emery. Because I'm excited, because, like, obviously, the implication here more is that Makio probably gave this to her because she is like, oh, you're similar to me in that you maybe don't like super hard social interaction. Like, you're friends with Asa, and that's great, but, like, you're not cut from the same cloth as Asa, and Asa wouldn't like this movie, but, like, this movie opened my eyes up to stuff. And the implication, I think, really is that, like, it probably showed Makio that it is okay to be, like, to keep to yourself and to be who you want to be and not let people judge you for the choices you make. Whereas for Emery, this has gone into the direction of, oh shit, I'm gay. Which is an equally fair conclusion to maybe get out of it.
See, that's not how I interpreted Emery's at all.
How did you interpret? Because
I think she's ace. I think that's absolutely worth trying to push that, because she gets mad at Asa for suggesting either side. That she goes,
that is
you want boyfriend or government. She just starts getting mad.
I will say
as she
keeps
pushing the
I feel
point.
like a different type of mad on
and then it immediately pushes to her reaction to the movie, because it seemed like she is just like, at least not at the, she is mentally not at a place where she is ready for a relationship. Maybe that's what it is, that she's not ready for a relationship right now.
I felt
it's something that she doesn't like see relationships the same way other people would, is how I interpreted it.
I think that's very fair, because I think episode 6 leans really heavily into that reading of it, because all of her conversations with Makio are about, like, how her mom wants her to get into a relationship, and, like, I was really leaning into that camp where she might be ace from episode 6. It's just the way she reacts in episode 7 to the girlfriend comment pivoted me a little bit. I think it could go either way still, and that's why I'm excited to see what they choose to do with it.
So I will say, this may be me reading a bit too much into it, but to me, for one, that movie it is absolutely fried green tomatoes is the movie she gave to her. They just couldn't say it.
They just called it tomatoes with a picture of green tomatoes at the cover.
Yeah, and it also, that is just straight up the cover art for the DVD of Fried Green Tomatoes. And it's a movie from the 90s. And
I got that.
And it heavily implies a lesbian relationship at the end of it. That's
Inspired
part of my feeling.
inspired by
on it.
tales of a strong female friendship between two women.
And they were roommates.
And they were roommates.
And they were roommates.
I still think it could be. I mean, it could, for what it's worth, it could be a bit of both. And we could be, they could take this in a lot of different ways. They could take this in, she has no interest in, like, sexual relationships, but she likes women. They could take this in just she likes women. They could take this in that she has no interest in relationships at all.
They couldn't take it anywhere at all.
Yeah, I mean, they could just drop this entire plot point. I don't know. I think we'll come back to it.
Like they could just not worry about it.
True.
For at least a while here.
I think
episode 7 already.
Yeah,
I think
I think we might table this because we have a couple of things that I think the show has to double back on. Like, I think we have to see a little bit of Asa in band. And, like, I feel like we need a little bit of Asa with her schoolmates that we haven't seen yet. Because I feel like we have not gotten a lot of that, and it feels like it is starting to become more important to her. But yeah,
I think what makes the show work so well, outside of, like, all the writing and directing being
brilliant.
great,
Yeah.
is that these characters all are written in such a way where the moment someone like says something, I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. That is absolutely the way that character would do. Like, they are all such well thought and developed characters, and it's so good.
Asa might be the most
entire cast.
Asa might be the most teenager I've seen, like, outside of like this Polar Opposites cast that we're gonna talk about, because they're a different breed. But like, she is she's a different subset than the Polar Opposites cast, where like this is. Like, she's almost all the bad parts of being a teenager stuffed into a character. Which is not her fault, she's a teenager, that's just how it is. But, like, she really highlights a lot of the stuff that's like, yep, that is exactly how a teen would take this. And that is, and that makes a lot of these situations really complicated and really tricky to navigate, and that's how it is growing up. It's very nice. Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah. What a show. What a
Very good show.
What a fucking show. Time to break to the slightly nice and relaxing show. Though episode 6 is maybe not exactly that the whole way through. Let's talk about Polar Opposites. It is Cultural Festival for Polar Opposites. And we're coming back off of that summer break, and we are immediately greeted by Azuma talking with Suzuki, and she's like, so what'd you do for summer break? And in Suzuki's mind, she's like, I went to Tani's house. I can't tell them I went to Tani's house. They're not allowed to know that yet. I went to Tani's house. And then they're like, Azuma's talking like, oh, it must be nice, like, having such, like, a great love for your first relationship. And then immediately Yamada's like, whoa, you're doing my boy Rihito a disservice. And Azuma's like, who the fuck's Rihito? And Suzuki goes, we're not talking about Rihito right now. Absolutely no way are we talking about Rihito right now. Hey, Yamada, how are you and that girl doing? And they hard pivot to talk about the fact that Yamada and Ishii they texted a little bit, and then they just kind of stopped. And they go into well, what does that mean? What does that mean for you, Yamada? Are you worried? Like, are things gonna be okay? And then we also get pulled out of that because it's time to get set up for the summer festival. We do get a flashback again here about Yamada, like, his time in middle school and how, like, he dated a girl, and it didn't quite, like, they didn't quite click because it's not the exact kind of dynamic he was looking for. Like, he dated the person because he dated the person who was into him, not the person who he was into, is the idea. But so we move on into the summer festival, where everybody's going around doing stuff. We get a bit here at Nishi and Honda, where they talk about how things went, and Nishi's like, yeah, it was terrible. He would message me stuff, and I would think really hard about it, and then he would give me, like, a one-word response, and it was terrible, and I would think really hard about it, and I wasn't sure how to navigate. So at some point, I just stopped messaging him, and he wanted to call me, but talking's worse than texting, so I didn't do that either. And Honda's like, girl, we gotta fix this. There's a problem here we gotta solve. You don't gotta worry too much about this. And we cut to Tani and Tyra going shopping for the cultural festival, and Tyra's like in his head about all his bullshit again. And then he notices that Nishi and Honda are there, and Nishi and Honda are, like, talking to each other, but also staring at them because Nishi recognizes Tani's there, and she, like, wants to figure out how Tani makes his relationship work. And Tyra's just like, dude, I hate when women stare at us. They must think we're the worst horrible human beings scum of the earth. That we gotta get the fuck out of here, Tani. And then it cuts back to Honda and Nishi. It's like they're just vibing. They have absolutely no thoughts about these two. Tyra's just in his own head. And now it's time for the cultural festival. And we get a montage of all the fun cultural festival things. And Suzuki's like, Tani, what are we gonna go do for the cultural festival? And he's like, I actually didn't do anything last year because my class put on a play. And she's like, then we're gonna go do everything. And so they set out and they wind up finding the photography club's exhibit, which Nishi is running all alone, and she's panicked and worried because she doesn't know how she's gonna talk to anybody who comes in. And then Tani and Suzuki come in and they start looking at the art, and then Suzuki kind of turns around and is like, hey, can I ask you stuff? And she's like, yeah, sure. Yeah, sure. And they start talking about all the photos, and Suzuki's like, who took this one? She's like, I did. And she's like, oh, that's cool. And they start talking more. And she's like, whoa, I can handle a conversation with a person. This is phenomenal. And then they're like, Tani, what photo do you like? And he's like, cat. And she's like, of course. Fucking, of course you like the cat. And then they go and they leave. And as they leave, we see Yamada starts to show up. And Yamada's just kind of in here, and he gets ready to talk to Nishi. And as he does, his phone rings, but because he bumps into Nishi, he also drops his phone, and it cracks. And we see that he's being called by Rihito. Because Rihito is here to, catch up with his middle school friends, and enjoy, this dynamic, of, meeting up with everybody. We get a little bit of a scene here where it is Azuma and Taira in the classroom, and Taira's, like, still doing stuff for the festival, and Azuma's like, you should go out there and, like, enjoy the festival. And he's like, absolutely not. What if I see somebody from middle school? And she's like, you purposely put in time to change who you were from middle school, and now you're not gonna go show people who you've changed? That's kind of dumb. And she starts shoving him out of the classroom, and they bump into Rihito. And then we cut to Rihito bumping into Suzuki and Tani, as well as kind of the whole gang's kind of here of the core four of the Suzuki friend group. And things get awkward because it is Suzuki's first ex. And we kind of get the details in flashback here of what happened. And it was that the two of them were pretty good friends. They talked to each other a lot. They kind of ran bits. And then the entire class decided that it's weird that the two of them aren't dating. And so as a bit, Rihito was like, wouldn't that be silly? We could try dating, but, like, what would happen if we did that? And Suzuki was like, yeah, I guess we could. And he's like, oh shit. And they were like, oh shit. And then they're dating. And then literally by the end of the day, they were like, this is weird. This is awkward. We should not be dating. And so they broke up. And that's literally all the context of their relationship was they were together for a day because everybody decided they should be together for a day. And then they were like, no. But that made their entire friendship dynamic weird after that.
It didn't seem like it was just a day per se necessarily.
It
just seemed like it had been a while, and they realized it was awkward, and then they.
No,
it was definitely less.
Like
it was definitely less than a week for sure. They were not together
like
for long.
I think it was not one day, but yeah, I get it was not. Well,
the only reason why to me it felt very hard like a day is because it really did seem like they spent the day with, like, people pushing them to be in the relationship, and then they literally walked home together, and, like, the immediately first thought was, well, we're a couple now, we should hold hands. And then immediately Suzuki was like, this is wrong. Like, and I don't think they took multiple days to get to that point. I really do think it was an immediate thing. Now, whether they, like, hard called it for everybody in the school to be like, yeah, we broke up right away, or they, like, put on a show for, like, a week, I don't know, right? Like, we don't get that much info about it. But either way, the point is it's really fast. It's really negligible, to the point that Suzuki really doesn't view it like that, but maybe she should, and she's conflicted about it. And these two kind of talk, and we see that Tani is getting a little jealous because there's this hot guy here who knows his girlfriend and is calling her by her first name, and he don't like that. It makes him awkward. And then so her and Rihito kind of patch things up. They, like, both agree that, like, things are fine, like, they're cool to move on with it. And then we get a scene where Azuma gets to talk to Suzuki. And she's like, hey, what's, like, going on? You seem really bothered by this. And Suzuki's like, I just think it's not fair that people judge people for who they've dated in the past. I really love Tani. I love Tani with my whole heart. Why should who I was in a relationship, or how long I was in a relationship, or how many relationships I had change how I love my current boyfriend? I could have had 1,000 boyfriend, maybe 100 girlfriends. Maybe this is manga about 100 girlfriends. But I could have been in a relationship with 1,000 different guys before Tani, and it would not change the fact that I love Tani. And she goes, I'm gonna go tell Tani that I love Tani, because you know what? I fucking do. And she storms off, and I was just like, damn, I wish I could fall in love with somebody the way that fucking Suzuki has fallen in love with Tani, and walks out of the stairwell and immediately bumps into Tyra and goes, yuck, ew, disgusting.
It's so funny the way they're setting these two up.
Those
It's
two
just a
are
funny thing.
perfect
He
for
goes,
each other is the funniest part.
Runs in and goes, "Is this my moment?" Sees who it is and goes, "Oh, it's you." He goes, "What the fuck did I do?"
And so Suzuki goes and talks to Tani, explains all out, and they express how much they love each other. I have a hard time remembering the exact conclusion, but I know that that's basically what it builds around to. We also have a conversation with Nishi and Yamada where they are in the gallery with each other and they talk about it, and Nishi explains she explains how she has such a hard time like going through communication. And she's worried about like saying the wrong things and ruining conversation. And Yamada's like, I don't think about anything. He's like, I just talk, dude. He's like, you could say anything to me and I wouldn't even realize you've messed something up. In fact, you should keep saying things to me so that you get more comfortable talking. And then that way, if you make mistakes, it won't matter because I won't care. He's like, I'm the perfect test dummy. And she's like, oh my god, he's perfect. What is this man? How did this man find me?
And I love his sorry he gives, because she's like, yeah, I spent like 3 hours making all my texts like formulating the perfect thing, and he's like, oh my god, and I sent the reply in 1 second. I feel so fucking bad, dude.
I said okay. I just said okay.
He said K. Oh no.
It's the fact that Yamada, while being a dumbass, is still self-aware enough to be like, oh shit, I fucked this up so bad. I'm so sorry.
Are wonderful. I love them.
And then we get into episode 7. Episode 7 opens with a tremendously wonderful bit, perhaps one of the greatest bits of all times. The gang, the middle school gang for Suzuki, Yamada, and Rihito with a couple of other friends are hanging out on a playground at night. Yeah, and Rihito is fucking spiraling so bad. He's talking about how he misses middle school and is reminiscing on it. He misses how cringe they all were, and now being cringe is uncool, and it's not fair. And you get this really good bit as he's going on and talking about his memories from middle school, where the two other friends who aren't named are like, is Rihito okay? And he's like, I miss the smell of like the outdoors when we were in middle school. And his other friend goes, he's not okay, dude. It's not good. It's such a good bit. And then we cut to Yamada kind of retelling the story to Tani and Tyra. And Tyra's in his head again, and he's like, dude, I fucking hate guys like this. He's hot, he's got friends, and what is he had a girlfriend, and what is he fucking doing? He's lamenting about middle school. This asshole, how could he? And he's like, and then Tyra's like, wait, speaking of girlfriends, what the fuck Shimada got going on with that girl? He said he was catching feelings. What happened with that? And he's like, actually, I don't want to know. I don't want to hear Yamada tell me about it. I don't want to know how good things are going. I'm not going to worry about it. And Tani goes, hey, Yamada, what's going on with that girl you were talking to? And he's like, well, we're working it out, you know?
Because again, mind you, they don't know it's Nishi yet still.
Yes, nobody knows it's Nishi. Yeah, the only person who knows about this is Honda, really. Because Suzuki still thinks it's Honda. And so we get into the next day. Well, so we cut to Tyra walking to school. He's still thinking about this the next day. He's like, I don't get how someone could enjoy middle school, because you don't get to pick your middle school and your elementary school. You are stuck in that place and you have to suffer. So if you draw the short end of the stick and you have no friends and you're a loser, you're stuck there the entire time. And like, how would you even change that? And he's got his earbuds in and he's rocking out. And then all of a sudden, Suzuki's in front of him, mouthing to him, and perhaps the greatest bit of all time once again happens in this episode, where Tyra takes out his earbuds and we just get as Suzuki is is not talking to him.
It's so fucking funny.
It's so good.
I lost my shit,
dude,
so hard at that, because you're like, she's trying to talk to me through the headphones. I had to go back at the end of the episode to see it again because I loved it so much.
But no, so
Such a good bit.
so she runs this bit, and then after he realizes what's going on, she goes, "Fucking got ya! I tricked you like a loser." And then Tani joins them, and they're all walking into school together, and Yamada joins them, and so actually, Yamada joins Taira and Suzuki, and they're all walking to school, and we see Tani is by the lockers, and Nishi is by the lockers, and she's like, "Oh, I had a great conversation with Suzuki and Tani. I should say good morning to Tani. This is going to help me." And so she says good morning to Tani. Tani says good morning back. And then, like, she's about to ask him another question, and Yamada walks up. And she sees Yamada, and she fucking Roadrunner vanishes off the face of the earth. And Suzuki's eyes go wide, and she zooms in, and she focuses, and she's like, she was talking to Tani, and then she ran away when we showed up. And then Tani looks at Suzuki and notices that she has locked in on something. And he starts to think, well, it was really weird that Nishi, like, ran away when Suzuki showed up. Like, I know Nishi, like, we work in the library together, but, like, there's, like, nothing weird going on there. Like, I don't know why she ran away. What is Suzuki might, I wonder why Suzuki's thinking about this so much. And he brings this up to Taira, and Taira and him have this conversation on a bench, where Taira's like, dude, she must think that, like, you like Nishi. Like, she's worried that, like, you're into Nishi. And Tani's like, no, I'm not. Why would she be worried about that? Like, I only love her. Like, very much so. And and Taira's like, she's jealous, dude. She's jealous of you, of the fact that you might like Nishi. And there's a bit where Tani thinks about it, and he's like, why does that make me feel a certain way? I don't like that feeling. I need to go talk to Suzuki about this. In the meantime, fucking Azuma slams open the window, and it's like, what are you two chucklefucks talking about? And they fucking scream because she appears out of the ether. And so we get a couple more instances this episode where Suzuki is, like, watching interactions with Yamada and Nishi. And it builds to Nishi worrying in her head that, like, she was really rude to Tani, and that, like she needs to clear the air about, like, oh, like, it wasn't you, that wasn't the reason I ran away, like, I'm really sorry about that. And Tani's like, I need to talk to Suzuki and clear the air, because I need her not to think that I like Nishi, because I don't, and that, like, I am worried about the way she's taking this. And so the rest of the gang is hanging out and blowing bubbles, and playing with a bunch of toys
outside the school,
like you do. To the point where they kind of come out, and Suzuki runs over to Nishi, is like, hey, you should come blow bubbles with us. Take this wand. Yamada's got the bubble soap. And Nishi's like, oh my god, Suzuki, thank you so much. And she goes right over to Yamada. And Tani looks at Suzuki and is like, well, I don't understand what's going on, but I need you to know. And Suzuki's like, shh, look at that. Isn't that beautiful? I figured it out, Tani. Nishi likes Yamada. And you see, I've calculated this the entire day. I picked up on all of these small things. And Tani goes, this is what you've been thinking about all day. And she goes, yeah. I think that's the whole episode. I don't think there's...
Yeah.
It's
so fucking good, man.
in my head, though, like, the bits in this episode are phenomenal. I was
so funny.
I was smiling the entire episode, like the biggest fucking grin on my face watching this episode of Polar Opposites.
Listen, Journal might be a harder hitting show, and it might talk about some very deep stuff, but this show is just so goddamn funny all the time, and it's so wholesome, and it just makes you happy and enjoy life, and that's why I have it above Journal, because while Journal is a fantastic show, I don't always want to be sad. I don't mind always being happy. You know, that's kind of the vibe diff on this one. It's just getting a little vibe check, and like, and on top of that, like, outside of just like the raw like change of like tone between the two shows, right? Because these are two shows you just cannot watch in the same day and rate fairly, because they're just so like polar opposites. Roll credits. Also, our two relationships in the show being polar opposites. Haha, get it? Because they're opposites attract. Haha, that's the whole point of the show. That's why you have like a bunch of pairs that are like kind of opposites that attract. But besides the point, it's just like, it is just peak rom-com slice of life. It is awesome, and the comedy has been like just destroying. And I think honestly, I'm gonna be honest. I think the dub hard carrying this shit. It's actually hard carrying the show, because the VAs whatever direction they were given or whatever they did, they're fucking just every time that pitch is thrown, it's just a fucking knocking it out of the park, and it's just so good. They're using Gen Z lingo. They're fucking funny as shit. They're just a bunch of shitters in a friend group, like a high school friend group was.
I will.
Not that I had many friends back then, but like it's just so.
This is like Kaguya dub levels of dub.
I think it's better.
So good.
I'm gonna say I think it's better.
I agree. Honestly.
That's hard to say because Kaguya's fucking peak.
Something I will say
so
is that the Rihito, like the opening bit of Rihito in episode 7, it is not as crazy lingo heavy in the manga. But you get all of the exact same points and the core idea from it while being immensely more funny and like a really enjoyable like section. Because in all honesty, the Rihito bit is not actually important. The important thing from the Rihito conversation is Tyra's interpretation of it. Like that is why you cut to Tyra, that is why like the focus is kind of on Tyra and how he is mentally, like that is why that whole bit's there. Because there is no follow-up in this episode with Rihito, right? You hear all of this and like as far as you're concerned, that scene might as well not happen unless Tyra is interacting with it. So like this is one of those things where like, yeah, the manga, I will tell you now, the manga is probably not as funny as the English dub delivery. But like all the other core parts of it that make it a really good and enjoyable story are obviously still present in the manga. And there are some bits that are still almost exactly the same. It's just the way the dub is delivering them is impeccable. It's phenomenal. I love it. People who say that people who are never dubs they're missing out. Like they will truly miss this masterpiece. And I don't want to give like the whole dub cast is great. Suzuki's voice actor is phenomenal. She does such a good job with this character in all of these bits, and
so good.
So good.
Yeah, so episode 6 gives you what I would say is probably the real first taste of any kind of hint or inkling that like the mangaka wants you to be aware of Tyra and Azuma as like a thing. Whether or not like no matter where it goes, they really want you to know like that is your first scene where you're like, oh, okay, now we know for sure that like the thought exists. It's real. Like you're not making it up.
You made the joke about it 2 weeks ago. They give them a ship name in episode 1.
Yes. When they're not even characters, they just exist in episode 1, and they still get it. But this is like the first moment where you kind of get a look where it's like, oh, you want us to at least be considering the two of them, because everything else has been like everything else it can be chalked up to, oh, I just really want them to be a couple because it'd be funny.
Anybody being with them would be funny. Let's be honest.
It's the fact that for them, they need to be a couple exclusively for the bit.
Yeah. They would be a different.
I still think it'll work.
They would be a different kind of polar opposites, which is the cool thing about the cast is that they all are like you could argue that Tani and Nishi are very similar and Suzuki and Yamada are similar, but their dynamics are different in very core ways. Tyra and Azuma would be they're polar opposites in like Tyra has absolutely zero self-confidence and despises anything about like adolescence, youth, and love. And Azuma is like probably one of the most confident people in the show about herself and is like overly open about relationships and like wanting to find love and like is very much living like the height of the high school style life where it's like, I got all these friends, I got all these people. She's by far the most like popular girl of like the cast while not necessarily being that trope. But they are neat. God, this show.
Go good.
Yeah, show good.
I will say, I was gonna say, real quick, I will say, something that I think is maybe lost a little bit from manga to anime, and I think it's fine. I remember when I read the manga, the Rihito buildup and maybe it's because it's over like 2 or 3 chapters, but like the tension about
Like
Rihito,
second section.
the tension about Rihito at the school festival is really tense. And I think it's because and maybe it's because I'm coming at seeing the anime as someone who's read the manga, so I know the bit that I know what was coming. But like, you really don't know what the dynamic was with Suzuki and Rihito, that it really does make you worry for a second about what's about to happen. Whereas I think the anime has a little more of a lighthearted tone in general to it, where like it doesn't come off as super serious. But overall, again, all the same messages get across, and like, I don't know if any of you saw this. The internet, there were some people on the internet who really ran with the message from episode 6 in a very different way, where they got very upset about the there was very big conversation about the idea of like, well, no, if you have 100 boyfriends, that's a problem. And it's like, that's not what Suzuki's saying. One, shut up, you're wrong. 2, like, you're also missing the exact point she's making, which is the way you're thinking about this is should and always be irrelevant to the 2 people in the actual relationship. But I find it really funny that is the way, like, the internet. Of course, it's the way the internet ran with it.
Internet's the internet.
Yeah, of course they're wrong as always.
Mm-hmm.
Time to go talk about a different
What's
style.
really silly about this character list,
Mm-hmm.
the character name list, is that all the family members for Tani and Suzuki, I don't know if they're ever given names, but their names on this are literally Suzuki's mom, Suzuki's brother, Tani's grandma, and Tani's mother.
Yeah, I do believe
me.
believe the only family member who is named is Tempura. I do believe Tempura is
awesome.
from what I remember. I think Tempura is the only one who really gets
It's
named.
really funny to see. Yeah, Suzuki's mom, or it's a Suzuki no Haha, but it's Suzuki's mom in Japanese.
John, we're back to you.
So, in Tamon's B-side, things get a little weird. These 2 episodes. So we open up with, the battle for the center is over. It was won by Kato. He'll be the new center for now. And we come with her going like, it's a great concert. I'm gonna go for a walk. We'll bring the dog. It's fine. And then she walks. She sees, if I didn't know better, that looks like my Oshi about to jump off a building. I should fix that. Runs upstairs in 15 seconds, saves him from jumping up things.
German suplexes him off.
No one else will suffer for me not being the center. She's like, you are a fucking idiot, and you will respect Tamon-kun. To which they have it back and forward. He gets a little bit attached, we'll say. And that's a theme for the next 2 episodes, where he's starting to get a little bit attached. And he gives her a hug and thanks her for always supporting him, and her head explodes. And we have Kato, who apparently all of them live in this apartment building, by the way. Who's like, that's a problem I'll address later. So he goes to Ori and goes, hey, Ori, what's going on with that girl? He's like, what do you mean about that girl? I called dibs. Don't you even think about anything. And he's like, what are you talking about, first of all? So later on, he sets up a situation where he, first off, he wants to bake, Tamon wants to bake Utage a cake to thank her for all the hard work, and she's like, that's very sweet, but I can't accept that because it's bad. And he's like, you'll eat the cake, right? And turns on his charm, and she's like, I will eat the cake. I must eat the cake. It is it is a gift. I am done working. I can eat the cake, I guess. And it's terrible, but she's like, but it's a gift, so I will take it. In which he starts getting a little too able to like turn on the switch a little bit, to which he's like, this is a problem. Because I can't resist the Tamon switch. That's very bad. I can handle Gloomy Horror. That's easy. But the Tamon switch is dangerous. Surely this will not be a problem in the future. Update. It's a problem in the future. Because the next episode, we have more of it where I believe she's out going to search for her Oshi's like cards basically at like a store. And she runs into some weird guy who's doing the same thing, who's definitely probably not one of the members of the group. That'd be crazy.
Definitely not.
That'd be insane.
Definitely not.
Definitely not.
Definitely didn't sound like the handsome guy with the muscles in the opening. But either way,
No.
but either way, she runs into Gloomy who's in disguise, who's also on the town, and he chases after her and is like, "Wait, stop! It's very hot in my black jumpsuit in the summer with my bag on my head." Which, first off, bag is plenty. You don't need a full sweatshirt in the summer. I don't think people are gonna recognize you by body type that well. But then again, stands are weird. So she gets pressured into having lunch with him. Has lunch with him. Sets up her little standees and stuff to have her little lunch with him. He's like, "You could take a picture." And then she explodes and fades into dust. And he goes, "Where'd she go?" She evaporated into dust. In which Kato spots them out in the open as well and goes, "What the fuck is going on here?" And takes like a candid shot of them. To which then he sets up a situation where he's like, "Okay, I need to figure out what's going on." So he hires her from the agency. Or no, she's going to clean Tamon's house, but Tamon gets pulled over to Kato's apartment, to which I believe he meets her outside of Tamon's apartment and goes, "Hey, we're having a powwow right now with the guys. You should come. Since you're taking care of his place anyways, it's fine. It'll be safe. Surely there's no problem here." In which he sits down and goes, "Don't you dare ruin this for me. This is my money-making factory. I swear to God." And they go, "Aren't you like 26?" And he's like, "Shut the fuck up." And so they're having this back and forth about where he's like, "You need to like leave," basically. And she's like, "I'm just doing my job. I'm just hired to clean houses. I have no ulterior motives. I'm just here to clean house and make cash." In which then the manager steps up and goes, "Oh, this is great timing, actually. Hey, can you come work at our summer camp for our boot camp?" And they're like, "Why the fuck would we do that?" She's like, "I don't feel comfortable with it." He's like, "Well, listen, our temp just left and we're short-staffed. And she's one of the few people we know that knows about a lot of things, like your temperament and his temperament and his temperament, and she won't blab about it. So, we'll compensate you."
Not a lot, but we'll compensate you.
Mom.
We'll talk to your parents about it, and we'll like pay you at least like
A little.
for missing work with what we can. To which they tentatively agree, and so it's boot camp. But yeah, Tamon's getting a little bit yandere about jealousy, which we'll see if that gets rectified or not. It is a little weird. It is funny at times. I do like that we're introducing more of the boys. The only one we don't know anything about is the shorter one. That we just know nothing about pretty much at all. But
the problem is he's also
going to be a little angry goblin.
He's also the one I'm probably gonna hate the most because I always hate this character type in these groups the most.
What do you mean? Tell me you didn't love Honey Senpai from Aura?
For 80% of it, no. Until they put in a lot of work for him.
With like a bottle of like.
I'm trying to think of other equivalent characters. That's the one that immediately came to mind was Honey.
It is the one that immediately comes to mind.
The one who does
be,
breaststroke
right?
and free.
Oh. So we
I
know
don't remember the
Tamon
cast
is
history
just
very much.
insecure boy. We have Ori, who's just kind of cynical. We have Kato, who's about the money. He's like, "I'm gonna bleed those fans dry, baby. We need our money makers."
One who's a weeb.
The one who's
He's just a weeb.
for his
He's into
Oshi.
Sanrio essentially. That's literally what he's doing.
What
He's
the,
getting a
Hey,
Sanrio.
what the fuck is this guy gonna be into?
The bit is really good.
The
It is
blonde was
probably
gonna be like the playboy of the group. Like
He
actually
smokes
a
weed,
playboy.
baby.
he's a VTuber.
He's a VTuber. But
No, I
Yeah.
will say the funniest bit of
I didn't
these
think it was
two
a great tweet
episodes.
either.
The funniest bit of these two episodes is definitely the guy who's definitely not a member of FACE being like, "I must free all of my Oshis from their prisons." The way he is talking
Of the gachapon
is
machine.
of the gachapon machine. The way he is talking is the most insane thing probably of the entire show. And to immediately cut to Utami and go like, "Yes, I understand. We are siblings in this endeavor." I'm like, "Yeah, you are fucking insane as well."
I just think it's funny that she doesn't recognize him, and
Yeah.
I guess the idea is that she only looks at Tamon when watching these performances.
It's also the Clark Kent effect. He's in glasses and
Yeah,
you
true.
can't tell.
Yeah.
He's also like the jacked one, and he's also wearing a long sleeve shirt right now.
It's also implied he doesn't
Yeah.
really talk a lot. So like that's your other trade-off is like he is completely different from like a lot of these other ones. I actually like Kato. The problem is that it feels like the build up here is that we're going to have this training camp and Kato's going to come around to Utage not being that bad of a person and will be the one fan he's allowed to like. And that almost is setting up the reverse harem in the exact way I don't want this show to do it, because I don't care about it.
Well, I don't feel like it's gonna reverse harem because I don't think Keito's gonna be really interested in her at all. He just wants her gone because he wants Tamon to keep being his money making factory with his face.
I don't know. It feels too much like they're setting up for it. In my opinion, the writing's on the
Maybe.
wall for her to be the person who turns his thought around on like fans being only cash cows.
How do
And
we already have the setup with the other guy, being that they're both fucking nerds about things?
unironically, unironically, I would be okay. The only reason I would be okay with the other guy is because I almost like it if the trade around is like, I actually there is like a small way where like the show turns around my opinion about the entire reverse harem, where the idea being, like the idea being, okay, you have that last member, and his whole thing is that maybe he's just a regular human being. Like, maybe he's just a normal dude. And so maybe his point in the story is to look at Utage and go, hey, all these guys are fucking insane and you need to get out of here. And if the last guy's whole dynamic is for her to be able to kind of see, oh, this is what I've been like maybe that works. The problem is that I really don't like the direction we've gone with Tamon. Even if I think like it is it's a neat premise. I will give the show that, and it executes it perfectly. He makes me uncomfortable the entire time like he should. It's just that I am really worried about how the show is going to resolve this, because I don't know how you do this right, where like you let her go, okay, this isn't okay, while also still keeping her as like his number one stan. Like, it's just, in my head, I don't see where the disconnect separates. And I don't like the outcome that is, okay, she can stop being his fan and will actually start being a love interest, because I actually think that's the worst outcome. I actually think that he doesn't deserve that, given the way he is as a person. I don't know, this show is very complicated to me with these 2 episodes. It really threw a wrench in my plan about how I felt about it. And I don't know how much I enjoy having watched the Rain performance 17 times in 3 episodes.
Yeah.
They really wanted us to like that performance.
Did it play in the 7th episode too?
Certainly do play at least part of it.
I remember that.
I think they play it twice.
Because they
play
it again when she takes him to the movie to watch the documentary.
Yep.
Yeah.
One thing that makes that so weird, again, maybe it's because maybe like misunderstanding the timeline of like the show before it like happens. How did Tamon exist before Utage started working for him? Because with how bad his dependency is from the second they meet, how did he exist for like the year this idol group existed before this? Unless they existed for a month before this. Like,
a lot of work from the manager.
For like a year.
Like it seems like they've been around for at least a bit,
bro.
Yeah. Like
The
truly
putting years off his life
for the entire group apparently, because none of them were normal. Like I understand now why he has a problem. But no, I agree. Like Tamon is like, dude. I mean, like you can maybe argue that getting the position as the center for a while, like maybe staved it off, where like he was successful and he was really like, it's almost implied, I think, a little bit that like he was really in it and really on top of things.
He's riding off the high.
And then like, yeah, it slowly started to lose traction of like how able he was to like be okay, just okay when he went home. And I could imagine, I don't know, it almost doesn't feel to me like he was like this before he joined Face. It almost feels like this was a development that happened afterwards. Like he developed this like identity crisis once he took on the new persona.
Personality crisis.
Yeah. So like there's maybe an argument that it only got worse over time being a part of Face, not that it was like always a problem. So like she just happened to show up when things were getting really bad. But again, that's a lot of like, you're picking up subtle clues of things and making that conclusion with no real support from the show, because it hasn't really dived into it. I don't know, I also just don't really care for Ori.
Yeah, he's just fucking angry all the time.
I mean, like,
dude, stop
shout
it.
outs to
Just-
him.
He's
Shout outs.
just an angry puppy that barks a lot.
Shouts to him for being the type of character though who is like, yeah, dude, we are idols, by the way. You can't fucking talk about our fans like they're cash cows and trash who you despise. I almost don't like the fact that they're trying to justify Kato's behavior by being like, yeah, he's had crazy stalker fans. I'm like, yeah, I know, but like,
They all do.
perhaps
That's K-pop.
yeah,
or J-pop.
perhaps it's odd. Ori's the character I like least, but he's probably the character who's most justified in his behavior because he's just an asshole. And, like, they don't try to redeem him for it, right? Like, he has a family upbringing that, like, kind of puts societal pressures on him, but, like, it's not the forefront of why he kind of just seems like he's like that because he's chosen to be like that. Whereas, like, everybody else, they're kind of like, oh, poor Tamon. My man, you need to calm the fuck down. I don't really feel bad for you anymore. And Kato, it's like, yeah, but he was stalked by crazy fans. And I'm like, yeah, but he's also still a horrible person. You can be both.
They're not mutually exclusive.
Yeah.
Bad things can happen to bad people.
Yeah, I'm interested to see, maybe see what this show does. I guess we'll find out, huh? We'll
Again,
see.
I think it's possible the show can go into stuff that gets interesting. Again, I think the show, as much as it's like really weird, that's the point of it. In episode 6, we set up this really bad dependency issue, and Utage coming to the connection that she's like, hey, this is bad. He has a problem where the moment I say no, he will flip a switch because he knows that I will say yes immediately.
Yeah.
Like and I feel like that could be a really interesting thing to explore and push away from this being a romance and into she just needs to fix his life and he needs to kind of come to terms with how to exist separately from her. And maybe we'll get into that. But the fact that episode 7 essentially drops it to just go, and now we need to have her meet Kato, is an interesting thing to do.
7 turns it a lot more into bits than it does a serious, like, problem. Like, it is used for the gags in the beginning of the episode. And I'll be honest, I was surprised because Kato takes that photo and I really thought we were going to go hard blackmail where he was going to, like, fan account post that he was with a girl and things were going to get really bad. But no, he was just like, hey, why the fuck were you two together? Which is a more sane thing to do. But, like, that photo's going to leak at some point.
It's proof just to prove that he
The
knows that they
issue
were
is,
together
even
more
if they
than
leak
that.
that is a dude in a black hoodie wearing a paper bag.
Well, no,
Only
he's
people who are
he's
in that
unmasked.
group-
He's unmasked in the photo he takes of them eating at the park.
Also,
Oh,
they just
did-
kind of know
did
that
he
that's
get
his
one?
disguise.
I think
to
he
be fair,
does.
too.
I think he
Like,
does.
He
I
also
could be
just knows
wrong.
that that's his disguise in public.
Yeah, I'm like,
so-
that's the thing where like the band members would immediately know, oh, that's him because that he always wears that black hoodie. We have literally never seen him wear
Yeah.
anything else outside of doing idol work.
Yeah.
And like we've seen him, and like yeah, it seems consistent that this is what he does when he's out in public.
I will give the show one other good bit it had. Well, there's two, but one other good bit it had was they're in Kato's apartment, and Kato's like, yeah, you can't be meeting with him outside in public. And Ori goes, again? And they both look at him and go, what do you mean again? What do you know that we don't? Which is a really funny bit from the festival.
And then Ori hitting the motherfucking, I've invited her to my house a few times. And then Kato goes, you motherfucking what?
Unironically, Kato is maybe, I actually do really like Kato. I enjoy the dynamic
Kato's
Yeah,
actually kinda
Kato,
great.
like, Kato, aside from the whole money thing, is genuinely a really fine character.
Well, because the money
Look,
thing's
it's-
kind of
that's his
the money.
shtick.
the money thing's kind of boring,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
It's kind of a boring
That's the thing.
character shtick. Like he could also just be another asshole and it would be fine. The other good bit is that her dog is equally as big of a stan as she is for Tamon.
It's so funny.
It is amazing. What a good bit that Pochi is the same amount insane as she is. Mason.
Beautiful.
Yeah, so Kunon.
Sorry,
So
Sorry, I forgot what I had as the screenshot, and it will never not be funny to me. I'm gonna post it in the group chat. Don't worry. Continue. I'm sorry.
So episode 6, we mostly focus on Kunon. We finally do the thing. Kunon makes his eyes.
It's the very end of the episode.
Or
It's the very end of the episode for 6. Because the start of
Yeah.
the start of 6 is him doing everything with his teacher. It's this whole
Yeah. So he does like he learns a lot of stuff with Xeon, and we end up getting like we've had a 2-year time jump now. He is now 10. And Kunon can do all this shit. He can do a 55 magic circle air thing, which before he couldn't get past 40, I think, or 30.
I think it was 20.
Something like that.
whatever. Unimportant.
no, he did
20
get
was
past
the
he did
wall,
get
I
past
know.
20. I think he was at like
Yeah.
35, 40. Yeah.
Something like that.
Number 20 being important.
And he and Xeon have worked on a lot of stuff. This whole time Xeon has him like copying over his notes because his handwriting's so fucking bad, but it's also a way for Kunon to learn all of the things that Xeon has wrote down. And Kunon learns a lot. And then we spend the back half of this episode of him developing his eyes and like what comes of that. He makes it happen. He essentially makes this like floating little orb that transmits everything it sees into his brain so that he functionally can see. He doesn't make eyeballs.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
He does not make eyeballs. He makes a device that sees for him. And it does some weird things. Like it shows a crab behind him. I forget what it shows for Eco. I think
She has the demon
Ego
horn.
has the unicorn horn.
She has a horn. Yeah,
she has like a
unicorn
horn in the front. Yeah, maybe it's more demonic.
It's a dark colored unicorn
It's
horn.
probably a deep. Yeah,
Like a black.
Yeah.
But the fact that they do like the singular horn instead of like the double horn,
Yeah.
like devil's horn. Like,
I remember. I think I remember
we
all
would-
of them. If you want me to do them, if you don't.
So it's Eco has the horn. Mirika has a quill in her head. Her mom has 2 different colored eyes. Her dad is fog, and then his brother has wings.
Yep.
Like imp wings.
And then Xeon Lee glows.
Xeon is bright.
he's so bright
He's
he cannot
so
look at him.
And the guard
Xeon
has
the Radiant.
the guard has like another weird fucking magical sword on his back.
Yeah, it has a giant fucking like weird light sword on his back, in addition to his actual sword.
Also, he sees the world in a weird
also-
photo.
yeah.
filter.
Yeah, so when he looks out on the scenery, it's not this like nice green rolling hills. He sees it purple. That shit purple.
So this is
And
scenery.
and the sun is black. And he's like, so guys, hey Xeon, I think I'm seeing wrong. And he's like, what do you mean? And he's like, so all of these things happen. He's like, Mirika has a quill in her head. That's fucking hilarious. But
I love Xeon. He's so good.
and he Xeon's a great character. He's a lot of fun. And he ends up like telling him like, look, man, you probably have some weird stuff going on because of like magic sickness. He's like, what the fuck is that? And he's like, so if you use too much magic, or if you're in an area that has too much magic in it, you can get sick and overexposed to it. He's like, oh, and he's like, yeah, I was trudging through an area at one point and I felt it and I saw like hallucinations like you're describing, and then I passed out. We do not talk about how he got out of this area. It's fine. And Kunon's like, okay, I'll try and fix it, I guess. Anyways, I have to go to school. They're like, what? And we do another 2-year time jump where he's like, okay, so I can only go to school when I'm 12, but I don't want to go to school. But also there's really cool there might be a really cool water sorcerer there, and Xeon can't teach me any more because he's an earth sorcerer and he can't teach me water magic. So I guess I'm going to school.
It's really far away.
We eventually look. Yeah, it's really far away. Like really far. And we end the episode with like a celebration for his leaving, and he sets off. Also, Mirika during this time has been learning from Dario how to use a sword.
Yeah.
Which
She also gives him a bracelet.
genuinely, yes, she does, and it's very cute.
It's very cute.
Genuinely, when they did the like the sword training thing, I was like, I out loud went, "Sick! She gets to be a character. Awesome!"
God, I hope so, Mason. Because Mason, I've seen a lot of characters start to look like they're good when they're a female character who can just use a sword, and then they write them off. If the first arc when he gets back is her getting kidnapped because she knows how to use a sword, I'm gonna scream, Mason. We won't get to it in this season, I'm sure.
She's a fucking Mary Sue.
But I'm so worried that like they're going to ruin this because that's what every fantasy does a lot of the time with it. But I can be hopeful. An odd thing they mentioned here is that the leading theory is magic sickness because of the way things are translucent and like hallucinations. But Xeon does also throw out the idea that the other option is that he is maybe seeing into people's representations of people's souls, maybe. It's like the other theory. It's probably both because I think you can kind of see the logic behind everybody to some degree, right? Like, his is a crab because he specializes in water magic.
He does the bubble thing a lot.
Yeah.
Make bubbles.
And also he's always evolving.
Yeah. Like Xianli is really bright and shiny because like he is really talented and a star, but also he's a fucking egotistical maniac. Mirka has a quill in her hair because she's a woman. I don't know, dude. I'm sure there's like his mom's eyes being different colors, making her more like the protagonist of like a fantasy novel. His mom kind of does have like that, like she's not the traditional, like they've played her up as like she is kind of a like an outgoing woman who's like a little more stern and strong. Her father his father being like a see-through plasma being is because he's a fucking pushover. I don't know.
I really love that him asking, because he goes around this like, is our dad like
No.
fog in a crowd? And he goes, whoa, you can't just
You don't say that out
don't
loud.
tell
Dad,
him that.
invisible.
Everybody does the worst job of giving him real answers because he's like,
He goes, Iko, do you have a horn? And she goes, yes.
Yes, but only sometimes. It's
What
not
do
nice
you
to say.
mean?
I was half convinced that the show was actually pulling the biggest bit on us.
Yeah.
And that we were being shown something what Kunon was expecting to see this whole time.
and this
And
is
then
what
we were
everybody
just
really
getting
looks
what
like.
He's actually.
I thought
yeah,
for a
what everyone
second it's gonna be
actually
like
looks
dark fantasy where it's
Yeah.
like everything's
Yeah.
actually fog.
You also
And
do
then
get
they're
the.
Yeah, I was like, ooh, okay.
We also do get the bit where it's like, where it's like, Iko, does everybody actually have wings? Like, are people born with wings? And she's like, yeah. And when you hit a certain point in your life, you lose them. I'm like, Iko, shut the fuck up.
He goes the action.
Iko's the
this
best.
episode. He's
You're
awesome.
not
It combines
helping
at the
him.
end of the episode too, where at the end of the episode they're getting the carriage and he's like, all right, bye. And they're like, man, I thought he'd be more dramatic about that. Eco hops and she's like, all right, bye. And he's like,
Oh,
I
that's
feel
where
like he's been learning things that he shouldn't have.
I'm so happy she's going with him, dude. I'm so happy she's going with him.
Yeah.
It's the best decision. We do
He's
get.
such a
Then we
great
also get like
character.
teaser visuals
Yes.
for the rest of the other students.
Yeah,
A few
we're-
of them, and it's
we're
wow,
getting-
person.
We're getting a Saintess. Whoa! We're
But,
bending the
yeah.
genre. Add the second genre in. We're gonna break some fourth walls with that one, I'm sure. But no, like I could also see like his brother has the dark wings because like the idea that his brother originally like didn't really like him and like he's kind of going through like this transitional period where he wants to be a better person, so it's maybe showing that like he had a darker side to him. There are logical reasons for why everybody has this thing with them so far. That like,
And also a quill.
and also a quill.
That's
And
the
also-
only one where I'm like, I don't have any idea what.
Well,
they're
you know
trying
what
to
they
do
say.
here.
The pen is.
Oh, I think I get it. I think it's because for a long while they only could write to
right
one
to each
another.
other.
Mm,
Yeah.
Maybe. I mean, like she's also like nobility. Like she's gonna get into politics. Pen is mightier than the sword. Yada yada. Dario has a
But
sick.
also it's pretty cool to know how to use a sword.
Yeah, Dario just has a sword that looks like it's out of the fucking spellbook archetype from Yu-Gi-Oh.
Right?
It's just the fucking spellbook tower as a sword.
I know.
That's the first thing I
I
thought
was
of.
losing it.
So like
Same.
there is an argument that maybe this show is not as great as other things. But compared to some of the others of the shows that are at the bottom of our pack, I think this show actually maybe has the most interesting lead into episode 8. Like, I'm interested and curious about what the fuck's going on with his eyes and what this new school life is going to be like.
Hi.
Yeah, and I kind of feel like we're going to be in this arc for the rest of the show. Like, I actually don't think we're going to be blitzing this down.
Yeah, it was all a big build-up and backstory into like, the main story of the plot line, which is, him and our sixth princess basically, like, growing up, right?
Yeah.
So it'll definitely be interesting.
Sorry, crazy thing we have to talk about real quick because I remember it. End of episode 6, for no apparent reason, the entire family goes and vibes in a sauna together. Why?
Yeah.
What was that bit about, show?
They want to go to a sauna.
I think it was the whole idea of like. I think the bit was they don't get to see Kunon very often because of his training.
Well, no, he doesn't get to see them.
And his whole bit was like he was needing a break from like trying to figure out the eye thing. So he's like, okay, well, I know if I don't tell my brother, he's gonna be pissed about it. And he goes to his brother. He's like, no, we gotta tell dad
and mom because they're gonna be pissed.
Because he's gonna be pissed if you don't tell him. And they go to the dad, and he's like, "Did you tell your mom? No, we gotta tell her. She's gonna be pissed if you don't."
What a weird bit. That feels like a 0.5 chapter of a manga that was included at the end of a volume.
Yeah.
Like it is a
little thing that happens.
4-panel bit they ran once, and they're like, "Put it in."
I don't mind it. I think it's fine.
It's just weird. It's so fucking weird.
It's like in a show that's been doing a lot of like pushing to the next thing happening. It was very funny just have a. And then they went into sauna.
It's just the end of the episode too. It's like, wow, weird. Fucking crazy.
Weird, but sure.
No, I'm leaning towards not. I know Austin's last wish from us was that we killed Kunon by shooting him with a rifle.
No, not the show.
No, I know. That's why I said killed Kunon by shooting him with a rifle.
We've just been calling the show Kunon as well.
It is fucking in the title. What do you want us to do?
Yeah.
By the way, 2 of our shows this week had their title as their episode title, with Tamon and Kunon. Crazy. Having a great time.
Yeah.
I cannot wait for us to get to Fate Strange Fake.
Hey, Michael.
Crazy.
Because Austin's not here, you get to talk about Mayanaka.
Mayanaka Heart-Tune. So, episode 6 of this one. Literally the entire episode, I'm pretty sure. Outside of like maybe another tiny piece of it. Is them having a little party after the sports fest. And they go over to Lemon's apartment. For the express reason of it's cheaper to drink at an apartment. W.
With a bunch of minors.
True.
Lemon has a lot of alcohol in this apartment.
Like,
There's a shot like having the episode we see her
fridge,
and it's actually just 50 cans of beer.
So funny.
And, well, essentially, this entire episode. So they're all there. We get a fun bit where Lemon's like, okay, that's what you guys are putting like normal clothes. You guys are all like dressed to fucking kill right now. What the hell? And she goes, oh, I get it.
Everybody but Yamabuki.
She starts teasing the whole group about it. And then Rika goes, yeah, I wanted him to say I looked cute. It's like, damn, okay. And he's asleep. His ass is just asleep because he's an idiot. And so while he's asleep, what they do, yeah, he had a long day. So while he's asleep, they all go out to get stuff for the party. They'll want to go get something to bring it back. Everyone got to bring a little sweet treat. Also, so Lemon doesn't have to pay for everything. They can all bring their little things. So they all go out. The first one to come back is Iko, who immediately goes and starts sitting next to Yamabuki's, like him sleeping there, and goes. She starts whispering to him. He's asleep. He doesn't hear any of this. But she's like, "Hey, are you and Shinobu dating? Because you guys have been like kind of really close to each other this past like week." Blah blah blah. And she's just sitting there. And then Nene walks in, quietly sees this and goes, oh dear God, where we get the title card of the episode, Nene Saw, which is really funny. As it cuts into the opening, 7 minutes into the episode.
Yeah. Yeah, 'cause
Um,
the
The show
idea,
likes to do that.
yeah, the idea
Yeah.
here is that when she walks in, it looks like
Yeah, she's like
Iko
leaning
is
down to
kissing
whisper in his
him.
ear, but it looks like kissing him. Nene tries to be like, "Oh wow, I just got here. I didn't say nothing," and then she immediately makes a comment about what she saw, and Nico goes, "Bitch, you saw. Fuck you." So then they're both sitting there, and then Shinobu walks in, and these two, with their infinity wisdom, hide under the bed instead of just existing like normal people.
Yes, of course,
Shinobu
the two
comes
with
in.
half a brain cell between
Yeah.
them.
Yep. And then Shinobu starts saying some shit to him about whatever, because that's the crazy. It's the way all four of them feel about him. And then Rika comes in. And Shinobu goes, "Ah, shit, I gotta hide," and then goes to hide under the bed, where she sees the other two hiding under the bed, and she goes, "Oh no," or whatever. And then all three of them are hiding under the bed. Rika comes in, starts saying stuff, and then one of them either squeaks or like hit like
Well, so she
Squeaks as it hits the
starts
bed.
she starts changing.
yeah, because she like teases Amabuki
Sleeping
like, after he's already
Yamabuki.
asleep. But she's like, "You're never gonna get to see this outfit again," and then proceeds to put the outfit back on.
Well, yeah, 'cause yeah.
Yeah.
But that's why they make the noise.
Oh.
It's because she looks like she's changing in the room with him.
Yeah, then she immediately notices the three of them. She goes, "Interesting. Now, why are the three of you hiding under the bed?" And they're all being stupid. And then we learn that the thing all four of them picked up was a cake. And then Yamabuki, being the goat that he is, eats all four cakes for Lemon to come
In
back
their
with a
entirety.
fifth cake.
A fifth cake is at the tower.
Yeah, which she
It's
also
time
she
to play
also then
forward the
eats,
tower.
and then they play Jenga. And Yamabuki's ridiculous at Jenga, but it doesn't matter because the girl's cheating.
This
Well,
bit,
no. He
this
fell
bit is
asleep
so
mid-
good.
Jenga.
Yeah, he like falls asleep
He
again.
flashbacks mid Jenga.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
when he gets out of his flashback, they've
They
created a
made mech in front of
monstrosity.
him.
I just want to know how they managed to do all of that in like less than 5 minutes.
I mean, we don't know how long he was out for.
I mean, so we've seen the
Yeah.
the
I
flashback
can't
here.
imagine it was that long.
You never had a little like half-hour dozy nap, like
No, it's not even a nap. He
Food
spaces
coma?
out because like one of them says something and it makes him think about Apollo again.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I
'cause
felt
he-
like he was
Yeah.
This
filming a little
this
bit.
is where we go back to what happened at the confession, because we don't talk about the confession, like where because we end
Oh, yeah.
episode 5 where Apollo's like, "You could find out who I am right now," and then we finally get the resolution where Yamabuki's like, "No, I don't. That would be cheating. Like part of me being here is to figure out who you are. Like that's part of the game." And so like whoever Apollo is winds up leaving the room, and fucking I don't remember if anything else important is said during that. But
I think they might whisper something to him,
Yeah.
like a dice key or whatever. You're like, wow, crazy. Of course.
I have feelings on this.
yeah, that's fair.
Less on this and more just the show as a whole. I still like it, but I'll talk about it once we
Yeah.
finish the recap.
So Yamabuki has to eat a fifth cake.
Yeah, and he's very large now because he ate a fifth cake.
Okay, that's the end of the
And I
episode.
think they just walk home.
Yeah.
And I want to say that there's like something that does to. Anyway, episode 7, Rika episode for 90% of it.
Yeah.
We're kind of pushed back to Kodu. Yeah, she's performing, but all she does is perform cover songs. And we see a person show up who stands out of the crowd because they, I assume, are from a different school as the setup here.
Mm.
And it's a person Rika had known in the past. And Yamabuki kind of confronts her like, "Hey, why are you kind of being a bitch right now? You kind of just like, I don't know, you kind of feel annoying." And she's like, "Well, yeah, I want Rika to like perform original songs. She also being a bitch."
This bit's really funny because Yamabuki is trying to get her attention and she keeps ignoring him. And he goes, "Why will you not just stop and talk to me?" She goes, "You seem like a really obnoxious person."
And he goes, "Oh, you think that? Let me list 10 reasons why I'm not." She's like, "Of course you are."
Of course.
This bit rules.
But essentially, So this episode starts now going into essentially why Rika performs only covers, which is that she had a bad experience in the past where she went to perform an original song and people kind of berated her for it. And she knows it's easy to perform covers. People already like those songs. She's not trying to make people like a new song. She knows she has a good voice. Writing a song is a completely different thing there. So to kind of get her out of the show, Yamabuki goes, okay, I'm going to kind of force you to perform one of your original songs in front of a crowd, which said crowd is the rest of the club. Obviously doesn't tell this to her because then it would kind of defeat the entire purpose of her having to fight through the nerves to perform. It's cute. It's a cute little moment.
And they go to
they
karaoke.
Also they go to karaoke twice in this episode.
Yeah.
And Yamabuki's really bad at singing.
I will say something I want to say about
And we
this
also go
episode.
to the mall.
Yeah, at the end of the episode, they go to the mall. That's before the second karaoke.
Yeah, it's essentially what the mall section is trying to build up. It's essentially. So up to this point, it's felt very clearly like Rika is kind of like the push for who is Apollo.
Yeah.
With the sports stuff starting pushing more towards maybe Shinobu could be here, or at least Shinobu likes him very obviously. And this episode essentially went, nah. All four of them have essentially they will all say a thing to him, and he will immediately flashback to Apollo saying the same thing, in the past or something similar to it, kind of cementing a little bit that no, they're all actually in this race. We swear.
Yeah, the conclusion of this being is that they are in the karaoke, and Rika chooses to play a song that Yamabuki chose because he was reminded about it because her friend was wearing the hoodie of the band of this fucking obscure niche indie rock band. And so Rika starts singing it, and Yamabuki goes, "Wow, she knows the song. She must like the band." And I stop for a minute and I go, "Or she's playing the song because you played it for her the last time you were in karaoke. But let's assume she also really likes the band. Let's assume you're right, Yamabuki." And then he's like, "Clearly this means she has a greater edge over the other girls because like the other things are things that anybody could do, but liking a niche indie rock band, now that is unique." And then all the other girls also start singing the niche indie rock band. So that we get the bit where Yamabuki goes, "Okay, stop. Why do you all like this one niche indie rock band?" And they go, "Well, somebody brought a CD to school." And he goes, "Who?" And they go, "My fuck if I know."
Or forgetful.
Just
Which
like
then flashbacks to
Apollo.
saying that
Whoa!
she's forgetful. Yeah, the bit here is one of them's very clearly because one of them knows they're the one who brought it in.
Hey,
The other three are
or-
just idiots.
Or there's a fifth character who brought in the CD who's actually Apollo.
That would be
Look.
ridiculous.
So that's kind of my thing that I wanted to talk about was this show. Episode 7 tries its best to make it seem like all of them are in the race, but it's absolutely Rika to me, and like there's no contest there.
And I feel like it's always been that way.
Yeah, like Shinobu had like a little bit of a like, ooh, maybe, but Rika was still in front even then.
Yeah,
It's
the
just-
thing that
I-
makes
I
this
wish-
weird is that Nene very much seems out of the race because like her personality doesn't at all match what we know about Apollo.
Yeah.
Well, at least the other three, I
Exactly.
can see them all being the kind of person to have a like radio show where they talk at night being shy. It's like, that's the kind of thing a VTuber would do. Like that makes sense for Iko
Yeah.
at least a little bit.
But there's an argument that it's been a long time, and Nene could have changed as a and I feel like that will be her next episode. Will be Nene was maybe more likely to have been Apollo 2-3 years ago when she was a different person. Now she's changed a little because I feel like that's her role, is that she is not like she works because like she's developed into the tsundere, so she appears like the least likely. I want to give this show flowers about one thing, because I legitimately think it does a really good job, and this is almost assuredly from the format of the source material of the manga. The way it uses, because like the episode titles, the mini episode titles are clearly chapter titles. And the one that I think was absolutely excellent, because they always do this. They always do they always wind up saying the title of the segment at some point, right? Like they do the Nene Sol thing. the margin of the 20-point margin of error is actually incredibly well done in episode 7. Doing the karaoke bit.
I love that.
Yes, doing the karaoke bit where it is like, you scored 70, she scored 90. He's like, well, 20 points is a margin of error. Like, I essentially won. Only to have them do the conversation after her performance where she's like, I would have thought less of you. I kind of do think less of you for all of this. And he's like, well, how much? And she's like, well, you were at 100, now you're at 80. And he's like, whole 20 points. And she goes, I don't even.
The margin of error.
Yeah, and then it flashes that it is by far, I think, one of the best feeling moments of the episode where I'm like, that's really well done. I'm like, that's actually
clever,
so
yeah.
nice of
Yeah.
like a bit to do.
This, I have to give the show this. It has drastically, like, my feelings on the show have drastically improved from episode 1 to now.
Yeah.
It has done all of the things that I want it to do to fix the issues that it had. Or that I had with it, I should say.
Boy, are their faces a little rough in episode 7.
Yeah, you can tell the budget slips every now and again.
However,
Not as bad as another show.
I was going to say,
but-
however, if we are going to be rude about this with one of our shows, it is not this one that I want to be rude
We'll get
about to
there.
it. I mean, it's next, right?
We'll talk about. Yeah, actually.
Yeah, we only have one show
Really
left,
is.
so.
Do we have other things to say, though, about... I mean, I really liked episode 6. I thought episode 6 was... I actually thought it was one of the best episodes of this show. Just all of it... The show is predictable,
See,
right? Like, I can
didn't
see
like the
all of it
cake
coming.
episode. I'm the opposite. I didn't like
Really?
that episode that much. I just thought it was so ham-fisted.
I guess.
I liked the gag where they all came in separately. I thought that was kind of funny.
Yes.
But the problem is, like, and this happens a lot with these types of shows. It's like, okay, I watched this scene play out once. Now I get to watch it play out 3 more times, if not a half a fourth time with the teacher
Yeah.
too. And it's like, that's half the runtime of the episode. Is this one bit that we're gonna run? And like that's fine, but it's just I don't. After the second and third time, I just don't care.
That's fair. That's fair. I liked it because I think it is nice to have the stop, pause, see where everybody's at in your rom-com of like, okay, we've run through all of
Kind
these
of,
different
like a
things,
progress
and
checker,
yeah.
yeah.
And like I liked it for the. I think what I really liked is that it was a moment to go, put Yamabuki out of the story for a minute. Where are all the girls' heads at? And that I think is really nice to have, especially seeing that like 2 of them, being Shinobu and Rika, have like gone really hard in I like him directions. Like they're not playing. The 2 of them are not playing anymore. Like they're making it very clear to the other
Miko's
girls.
also kind of there as well. Let's be real.
But I feel like
Miko's pretty.
I feel like she's a little less in the other girls' faces about it, but she's very in, like, it's very clear about him, how she feels. Nene, I think, is also not necessarily not, like, head over heels for him. It's just that she's a tsundere, so you're just not going to get the same thing out of her as everybody else.
Mhm.
Let's get into this one. Don't worry, guys. I've taken the burden of talking about this show for us. Nobody else has
Much
to worry
appreciated.
about it. Yeah.
Because I sure did not want to.
Don't worry, it's not going to be a very long one. You think I'm thorough with polar opposites? Don't worry, this is not going to be like that. Welcome to God. I forgot about that screenshot. We'll get there. First episode. Gar is falling apart, or Gargoyle. He is disintegrating. His time is limited, and he has let Yoki know this. However, at the same time, what is her name? Who's got the child's name? Teal.
Teal.
It's a color. I was like, it's a
Yeah.
color. Teal.
Teal.
Teal's conditioning is worsening. It seems like the medicine is not working. Also, for a reason I don't remember, Yoki is forbidden from seeing Celica for like an extended period of time. I think it's like a month almost. Like a long amount of time. Her mom is like, you just can't see her. She's busy. Like, I don't want to see you at all in the house or around her. Give her space. And he's like, okay, fine. And he's moping about it, and he's having a bad time. But Gar is in a bad spot. So he has to go figure out what's going on. And he can go get some magicite to feed it to Gar. and Duke tells him this. But Duke also goes, but you should know, and then we never find out what he should know, and it's not ever going to be important what he should know. And then they also find out they need to get this special grass that also grows in really high magic-enriched areas. Maybe the same place you would find the Magicite to help Teal. And so Yoki sets off with Celica. Cecilia? Which one is it?
It's Cecilia.
Cecilia, thank you.
Celica is from
the fire. Yeah, it's the Fire Emblem. Yeah. Cecilia. They set off, and her mom gives them a pass because they're saving a small child from death. How nice of her. And they are joined by Guildmaster Craven, or whatever his name is, and his wife.
Hayasaka.
Yeah. And so they all set out on a 2-day trip to go do this, which, you know, Gar has like 3 days left to live, so that's great for him. They're going to make it back in time, no worries. And they go into this dungeon, and there's this big old golem that is eating a bunch of rocks and making it bigger, and it's immune to magic. So they do this fight where Cecilia has to hold it in place with chains for some reason, while Yoki freezes it in place with ice for some reason. And then he surrounds our guildmaster surrounds his wife in spiritual talisman magic so that she can enter the inside of it and, like, I don't know, puncture its organs. I'm not sure what she's doing in there. We don't really know. And so they wind up defeating this thing. They find the rocks, they find the herbs, and they're like, well, we gotta wait because it's nighttime. We can't travel, and it's gonna be 2 days to get back. And Yoki's like, I can't afford to wait. So Yoki goes and he leaves in the middle of the night. And Cecilia's like, okay, be safe, go do this. I know you have to. I'll cover for you if I have to. And he flies off in the middle of the night, and he feeds all the rocks to Gar, and Gar is fine. And they give the medicine to Teal, and Teal is fine, and everybody is happy. And there is no repercussion to giving Gar this Magicite yet. I don't know what Duke was trying to allude to. The show doesn't know, and we're not going to worry about it. And Yoki flies back and gets to sleep on Cecilia's lap on the way back, and everyone's like, weird. No one questions where all the stuff went. No one goes with them to make sure that they deliver everything right. It's fine. We don't got to worry about it. And then the most Saturday morning cartoon episode of all time happens. A group of young, unsatisfied children are stealing things. Particularly, they are messing up deliveries of chocolates for Valentine's Day. I think
this did air like the week of Valentine's Day.
Yeah, I didn't think about that. I wonder if this is in the manga or not. I wonder if it's at this point in the manga or if it's like later. It
specifically aired on 2/17, so like I mean,
close
kind
enough.
of on the nose, but.
What is going on in my house? So we have this group of 3 people who have stumbled upon a dark, evil tome that has made them commit crimes, apparently. And Yoki, probably the only good bit in this episode is that Yoki stumbles upon, he's out shopping for he's out shopping with the guildmaster to help find something for his anniversary with his wife. And Yoki stumbles upon this all-black armor set and this Levin sword. And he becomes the Black Lightning hero. And he goes and he incognito does a bunch of quests for the guild, and everyone looks at him like he's fucking insane, because he is. And he goes and does a bunch of quests. And the last quest is to apprehend these thieves. And he kicks the shit out of these thieves and arrests them. And then the guard shows up, including Duke, Raven, and the girl who is here. And Duke and Raven are like, yo, we're gonna go handle this. Hey, Duke, what the fuck's wrong with him? And he's like, I gotta go talk to him. This is gonna be really bad. And he's like, yo, Yoki, you should take that helmet off and look at yourself in the goddamn mirror, you idiot. You're gonna hate what you see. And Yoki does it, and he goes, I'm so fucking cringe. And then it's actually Valentine's Day. And Yoki watches as everybody he knows gets Valentine's Day chocolates, and he starts to get upset because he's never gotten Valentine's Day chocolates from a girl besides, like, his friend's mother's. And that makes him real sad. And Cecilia's making a bunch of stuff, but she's handing out chocolates to orphans, so, like, she's got more important things to do.
She's kind of the goat.
And we run a bit with everybody where Happiness gives her chocolates to Raven, which makes Yoki very upset because he can't believe he's been betrayed. Duke gets chocolates from the only other female character in the show who exists, the guard. The hero gets chocolates from the sorceress. And everybody else under the sun. Her chocolates are bad because she can't cook. Haha, a woman.
The Garden Day, he gets chocolates from Teal.
Yeah. Yeah,
Magicite infused chocolate.
that's true.
So
And
cool.
then Yoki's just stumbling through town, and a giant chocolate monster has been made by the three of them, who somehow broke out of prison and got their evil spellbook back. Guys, what are you doing? How did you let this happen?
Right?
Don't ask questions.
And so they are here to ruin Valentine's Day, because Valentine's Day is the worst holiday for singles in your area. And Yoki goes on a rant about how like you just have to deal with the fact that you're not gonna get chocolates. Like that just happens to some people, and you shouldn't go and ruin other people's happiness for this. And everyone is looking at him like, wow, that would be a really cool and like interesting thing to say if we couldn't tell how really fucking beat up you are about you not having chocolates, you loser. And so they wind up defeating this golem, and it is revealed that the leader of this trio is actually a tomboy, who got denied chocolates because, and I quote, "I don't want chocolates from a tomboy like you," a sentence that has never been uttered in the history of anyone ever anywhere.
All right, Sean. All right, Sean. Keep it moving.
And the hero's like, I would accept chocolates from you, and the tomboy like swoons. And everyone gets upset, and then Yoki gets his chocolates from Cecilia, and that's the episode, folks. Yay!
Yippee!
The show looks so bad.
This show's just dumb.
It's
The
a
show
good time.
had some things going for it, and then promptly forgot about those things and leaned into being the most generic fantasy ever.
We had a bits
Yeah.
episode, unfortunately, in a week where, like, honestly, like, most of our shows had pretty good 2 episodes. This one was like definitely the weakest. Like the first
Yeah.
one, like you said,
Yeah.
like going to get the Magicite, going to help Mr.
It was
Mr.
fine.
Man, that's fine. The problem
It's
is,
fine.
the problem was the second episode, which was just kind of like, what's the point of this episode other than haha, he's cringe. Which again, don't get me wrong, I did haha because he was cringe. But the rest of it was just kind of whatever, which isn't good enough when you have to vote off 2 shows and everything else is also like pretty damn good actually. Like I said, this has been a season that from the start we've been like, wow, there's 4 really good shows, and then there's the rest, which is not terrible, but it's not up to the level of those 4 really good shows. So it's a matter of which ones are gonna fall off and get shot first, right? And I feel like this is definitely like the clear like bottom rung of the totem pole. I should have probably put this below Tune at least. Now that I'm like thinking about it, because you're right, that Valentine's episode was just ass. It was pretty just ass.
Yeah, like this show is fun, but it's dumb, and it's hard to say. Is some of the fun laughing at how poorly animated it is? And it's a question of, is that the intention that it looks that bad?
No,
And sometimes you really.
bullshit.
Sometimes it feels like it.
Sometimes it feels like it.
Yeah, sometimes it feels like, oh, this is intentional, and then other times you're like, oh no, that should they didn't have time or money to make
It's
more
probably
than one draft.
They didn't have
of
time
this
and
art.
money, and so
this
therefore they
RPG.
had to work with what they had and make it as entertaining as possible with what they had. So it's a bit of both, you know.
So I
Which,
showed
again, nothing wrong
Michael.
with the show,
I
but-
showed Michael this. I was curious. There is an ongoing manga for this. That's the panel from chapter 1. So like, it is hard to say because this is clearly it also trying to be a little more darker and intimidating for the
That
scene.
art's actually good.
But you can see in it kind of the idea that the show isn't necessarily doing the art style wrong. It's just it could have a better budget for sure. Like the arts, you can see the makings of the art style in the anime here in this manga panel still. Like the characters do look similar. From the little bit I gleamed, this just looks a little better in the manga. But also, is it basing itself off the manga? Is it basing itself off the light novel? Right? Like where is the anime adaptation getting its stuff from? Right? It's hard to say. This is not a manga that is happening with the anime. This was happening already before it has a fair amount of chapters out. I don't know, it definitely does feel like it loses a bit of the drip, I won't lie. Like that panel looks kind of sick. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Yeah.
Also, to be fair, the first chapters of mangas usually do look the
Yes,
best
correct.
because they have to.
Mhm.
For sure.
Like,
Yeah, I
you
didn't.
have to make a good impression on manga, or you're dead in a month.
We'll find out.
Um,
I might go read this to see what's going on with it because it'll probably be a pretty brisk read for me. So I might check this out and let you guys know if I think like, wow, it looks a lot
Wow,
better.
Sean, flexing your ability to read fast, cringe.
Well, this is just I
If only I could.
I drink fantasy slop like it's the water.
Well, we know.
So like this will I will literally be caught up with this in like a day and a half, if even. It's only like 70 chapters. It's not bad. I gotta catch up to my actual other shit that's good though. Whoops. But yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It's just like there are like I talked about in the summary, there are things that get brought up in episode 6 that don't ever get resolved properly, and like it doesn't look good for the episodes focused largely on fights, and like, oh no, Yoki runs into another enemy who his magic won't work on because he has to be able to not stomp this enemy right away. It's like, cool.
It's
neat.
like trying to design a D&D fight around your level 18 party.
Yeah.
Where it's like, oh god, I gotta give everyone stun resistance. I gotta give everyone freedom of movement. I gotta make sure.
So we have our results in. This is fun. No slays on Fate, Sentence, Journal, Polar Opposites, who could have seen all of these results coming. One slay on Mayanaka. We have a full 4 slay vote off on Hero's Party, and then that's right, everybody. There's 3 slays on Kunons, 3 slays on Tamons. It's time to bring out the wheel.
Guys, we can just
I'm
remove
pulling it
Tamon.
up.
We already know I'm not winning the wheel. We can watch it for effect anyways. We already know what's gonna happen. I'm already sliding it to the Slade folder.
Hey, don't you never know.
No. I played Pokemon today.
The
Alright,
show
so
this lands on goes.
Yes.
The thing
Yeah.
that gets stabbed gets stabbed. Oh, that's upsetting.
Oh, that's actually kind of upsetting.
Hey,
but
you
also
slayed.
I
Hey,
would
you
bolt,
slayed
so,
it. I know I didn't, so it's fair.
Yeah.
I mean, it's. I'm not
I'm
saying.
gonna watch both anyways. So
I'm only gonna watch. I might go watch Kunon. I will see.
I mean, you're going to watch Tamon's because it's still on the podcast.
Well, no, yeah, correct. Yes, my point was that like I might go. Like I think I'll give it maybe, and it depends if Michael and I are in the mood because we watch our shows together.
That's fair.
If we're like, sure, we'll go watch another episode of Kunon. I might go read Kunon. That might be the play. I might just go read all the fantasy once it gets voted off. That might just be how we do this.
Maybe.
But yeah, no, I think we will be back next Saturday again, probably. We'll double check that. Because I don't think you could do Sunday, right, John?
No, I work Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday these 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I might be working Saturday. We'll talk about it. But
Okay. Well,
they're in triple time.
Three-person podcast.
Listen, for $150 now, you can send me wherever you want. I'll let you know that right now.
You know that's fair.
that's,
Like,
I guess.
Honestly.
I'll do the podcast from the bathroom for all I give a fuck.
I
bro.
mean, hey, that's what you want to do. I won't stop you.
Not that I would ever do that at work. Please don't fire me.
But
My
no,
face
I mean,
is
the good thing is that we like just barely hit 9 o'clock, and like we're gonna be talking less next week. We have 2 shows less to talk about and 8 less episodes to talk about. So
Yeah.
And I will say it's also
technically
one of those
10.
things
10.
where
Yeah.
because we knew we weren't on a time thing because Mason had told us, and also because it's earlier in the day, so we didn't have the inherent it getting late and us being tired.
Yeah.
We talked a lot on some of these shows.
Yeah.
Fate, the first 4 shows each had like 20 to 25 minutes on them.
Yeah.
We spent a lot.
But those are also the most interesting shows on
Yeah.
the podcast.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
We spent a lot of time on this show.
Yeah.
Mm.
Which I mean, like they all had really good 2 sets of episodes, so like you have to just talk through them.
Yeah.
But yeah, well, who knows what could go off the podcast next week? Mayanaka could have the worst episode we've ever seen. It's not impossible.
Right.
And
Who
Tamon
knows?
could pull it back. You never know.
Listen, I am confident I have a show that's not going to be voted off. I'm not going to be the first one off the podcast this season. Yippee.
I'm convinced I have at least one show in top 3.
I'm not.
Only one show. In
Yeah,
top
I think
3.
I think we're very
I'm confident,
clear.
but not convinced.
I think it's very clear, given how the PRs have looked, that like it would be incredible to not see both Polar Opposites and Journal on this top 3. It is really just what's gonna be the other show that joins them. And like, will it put in enough work to maybe be someone's number 2 show over one of these other ones?
Which shonen action slop is going to join it? Will it be Ufotable's animation or will it be?
It's actually not Ufotable.
It's
Fate
not-
isn't done by
it's not
Ufotable.
Ufotable,
It's A1, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Day
it's
one.
usually ufotable.
See,
Oh.
it's usually
It's
ufotable, but this one's being done by AI.
Let's talk about this real quick.
Really
Anime
Because
news.
ufotable's busy doing something else this season.
Yeah,
I
let's
think.
talk about not an anime news thing. Let's talk about an anime rumor thing. I don't know if any of you heard this, but I got hit with this the other day, which was one of my friends who often does this. He'll hear a rumor about something and he'll present it to me like it is fact. And it is my job as someone who spent a good amount of his time doing journalism to go, wait, no, I don't see any
Dylan?
news report about this. It's not Dylan.
I know. I miss Dylan.
But he came to me and he said, have you heard that Mappa's going to be giving the Sukuna the Sukuna Gojo fight to the One Punch Man season 2 and 3 studio? And I went, I don't believe you.
I think I thought it was just
I
Nappa's
don't
backing out of
believe it.
control of the project now because they got bought out by someone else or something like that, and now it's just gonna be the other studio that's taking care of JJK for.
I've
the rest.
still heard no
what I heard.
confirmation at all from any news site about JJK fully swapping anything off of
Okay.
Mappa swapping anything.
Yeah.
And I looked at it.
That's what I had heard.
It
is
also-
that, like Nappa just was
yeah.
backing out because of like their own.
But I also don't believe it because I don't believe they will give up the money they get from JJK.
That's the thing, is like that's their cash cow.
Like I looked
Yeah,
at,
maybe they're running out of animators.
I mean that's. But what I said was maybe more believable is that perhaps they are taking some animators from. I think it's A1. Might not be it. No, it's Hold on, I can think of this. Cause it's not. No, Studio Kai's the one doing Sentenced. It's JC Staff that does, because it's the studio that's doing Tamon this season. But so yeah, it's JC Staff, and I could see them taking people from JC Staff to work on the project. That would be like a couple of people who do fight choreography from JC Staff go over and help Mappa. That is maybe believable. But I also believe that those people probably are not going to doom the project if it happens, because the problem with JC Staff isn't that they can't animate good stuff, it's that they were working on a crunch.
That they pick
And they outsourced
that,
it
and also
a lot.
they also pick bad things to animate sometimes.
Yeah, they also did a lot of outsourcing on One Punch Man. Season
Whoopsies.
3, I believe, was what happened. I think there's lots of reports that they sent a lot of things to different... They did what Ubisoft does, which is they sent a lot of their shit to different different sub-studios in different countries, and then they got like 13 things back from 13 different people, and whoa, can you believe it? It didn't make something cohesive and nice looking. Insane that if you outsource too much and have 17 hands on a project, it's not going to have one cohesive vision anwood Insane. Can't believe it. But yeah, and that made me go and look at stuff, and I said, well, why would Mappa give it up? And I said, well, only if Mappa had a lot of other things they were working on, right? And I looked at that and I said, well, next season they do Dorohedoro.
Oh, right. I forgot.
Yep.
Going back.
And then the only other thing they have cooked up, I believe, in the future is Chainsaw Man.
Yep.
And I can't imagine that they would be like, oh, Chainsaw Man's too much, because they just did a fucking movie and then did JJK Season 3. So, like, clearly they can handle both. And the next season of Chainsaw Man should probably not be as high-end as the movie. I can't imagine they will spend as much. But yeah, I just figured I'd talk about that because it came up to me, and I was like, yeah, I don't. And I looked at it. JC Staff actually has more things in the tank than Mappa does, because they have they have the next half of One Punch Man. It's a split core, so they have another core they're doing.
There is no One Punch Man.
They have.
What do you mean?
They have Magi Lumiere as well. They had a bunch of other stuff too. Like they have their hands in. I think they do Danmachi? I think they do Danmachi. And like we are due for another season of Danmachi, I believe. In fact, I think it was confirmed that we are getting another one.
So yeah, they do. Oh no.
Is it not them?
No, they do Duel Masters.
Neat.
Oh no, it is them. It is
Okay.
them. You're right. It is them that does Danmachi.
Are they doing Duel
They
Masters
also apparently
Lost?
did- Yep.
Yeah,
They're
Lost
doing Duel
just
Masters Lost.
which
They're
just
doing
got
Magnolia.
greenlit for a new season, by the way, as well. So that's another thing on their docket they have.
Yep. And then they also did the new Pat Labor stuff,
Yeah.
which is wild.
Plus, they just have they always just pick up 2-3 shows every season, which is also a JC staff problem, is they do too much. They need to stop doing so many goddamn shows. They gotta be like Science Saru, who does 1 show every fucking half a year, maybe 2.
Calendar year.
Yeah, except for the 1 season where they're gonna be doing 2, which is an insane thing, because they're doing it's the season they're doing Ghost in the Shell. They have the Ghost in the Shell, and they have something else, they happen to have something else the same season, but it's almost assuredly because it was happening. They've been working on Ghost in the Shell for fucking ages, probably. Because Science Saru just doesn't, like... It's the same thing where I was talking to somebody about Witch Hat, and they were like, I'm worried about Witch Hat, like, keeping the same quality, and I'm like, it'll be fine. They already delayed Witch Hat to stop this problem. Like, Witch Hat will look good the whole way through. Because they purposely...
Witch Hat is going to have the same quality the entire way. Sorry, go ahead.
No,
I didn't interrupt you.
That's exactly it, right? They delayed it. It was supposed to be October, and they delayed it 2 seasons worth of content because they wanted to make sure everything was done with it. So it'll be fine.
Copium.
I will be surprised
Copium.
if I will be incredibly surprised.
I will be.
No, I'm sure it will be, but I mean, it's just like the funny. It's just like the classic. It's just,
Yeah,
it'll be
true.
fine.
True.
Right, guys, definitely, please don't.
Yeah.
That is fair. But yeah, we'll see everybody. We'll see everybody maybe next week. It'll depend on how John's feeling, I guess, if he wants money
Probably.
or not. So, but probably.
I do like money. Hey
Oh,
John,
look at that.
why do we have to delay the podcast another week?
Money.